NFC. It's the conference we're not in, but today we're going to be in it, at least for this thought experiment. So, if you listened last week, you'll know how this works. We're going to go through each of the teams. What should we start with? Do we say north? We're going to go start at north, east, south, west. Is that the order we're going to do it in?
Yeah.
Yep.
And we'll go around the horn, speak a little bit about each team, what's changed, the rosters, how we think they would match up with the Steelers, and then ultimately vote and try to come to some kind of consensus. Is this team better or worse than the Pittsburgh Steelers? Pittsburgh. All right, who's going to kick us off?
I'll go first. I don't mind. I'll go first.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're in the NFC North. When you kick us off?
Yeah, I'm going to take us to the Packers. Let's go. Let's fly over to Wisconsin. Over here. Okay. Let's
Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Green Bay, Lambeau Field.
Home of Aaron Rodgers. Wait, no. He's here.
Well, we do have a preseason game against the Packers.
Oh, do we?
Because obviously, yes. We've got to get McCarthy and Rodgers back, even if it is just preseason for one last. Well, it won't be the last for McCarthy, but Rodgers certainly.
Did you see this week that Tom Brady said that Aaron Rodgers was the best passer in the NFL?
I did not
during
see
his
that.
era.
Wow.
Admitted it. Said that. Basically admitted that. Yes,
That's
he
a
was
Roy Keane.
a more winning quarterback. Better leader. But Brady was saying about himself. But But Rodgers was the better passer. I think we all think that, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna say I appreciate that Brady's the one saying it, I guess, but like, is that a hot take? I mean, I know it's a nuanced take, right? I guess like the English, like the Roy Keane wouldn't have understood that, I guess. But I mean, I think NFL fans understand that, right?
I think Roy Keane would understand that because
no, he would understand it, but I'm saying he wouldn't know it implicitly.
I think he would think, well, look back to him and Paul Ince. Like Roy Keane was Paul Ince was a more skilled player next to him, but Roy Keane was more of a winning player. So that's the comparison. Decent one there for the see. I do know football.
Yeah, look at that.
Dry football talk, but not as you expected it.
Right.
Dry football.
Yeah. Anyway, Green Bay 9-7 last year.
Mm-hmm.
Some questions, I think. They've obviously got a talented quarterback, but can the rebuilt O-line protect him? Can Van Ness and the front create pressure without Parsons until he comes back? What happens with Jacobs? I think the Packers look like a 9-12 win team with, in the top range, they could be a Super Bowl favorite, but they could just be middle of the pack. I think have they lost more than they've gained over the course of this offseason? They lost Romeo Doubs, they lost Elton Jenkins, they lost Key Walker, Nate Hobbs, Rashawn Gary. So, there's changes here. What do we think about Jordan Love? Flashes brilliance, has athleticism, but the same problems persist from when he was in college. Still inaccuracy, still inconsistent, but apparently working specifically on being calmer and more disciplined in the pocket with his footwork this offseason. So that's what he needs. He just needs to be a bit more zen, doesn't he?
He really does, yeah. And he's got a zen vibe to him in general. So it's surprising that you don't see that on the football field. But he is just erratic, isn't he? And he can really throw a game for better or worse. He's really kind of, I would say, one of the most inconsistent quarterbacks in the entire league.
Right.
Because he's so good when he's on it. When it's a Jordan Love game, he is a pleasure to watch. But he can have some real stinkers as well. Like he's what's the kind of word I'm looking for there, where it's so one way or the other.
Varied, volatile.
Yeah, his variable.
Yeah.
His variable is just wild. So yeah, this was a really tough one because I think this team's very close to
right.
where
But
the
there's
Steelers
more
are.
problems. I mean, Josh Jacobs' legal issues with the domestic violence. Sorry, I'm cutting back in because it's my team, Mark. You're taking over.
Yeah,
I'm taking back the reins. Give me the keys. Rumors they're in their trade suitors for Kamara. Have you heard this one? Maybe this is a Green Bay beat writer thing, but yeah, apparently they're having a long look at whether they want to bring him in. Kraft coming off the knee injury. Now, the big question for them is Kraft's coming up for a contract renewal, and obviously Kyle Pitts just got paid, so that pushes the market for Kraft. But obviously, his injury, Kraft was coming on nicely, wasn't he, before the injury? I mean, he devastated the Steelers in that game. Totally destroyed them almost. So that's an interesting one. Golden, only had one game of more than 40 yards last year. So is he a bit of a breakout candidate? They're bound to be working him in. And they traded Dontavian Wicks away. So it's a nice receiver room, but it's very young. Jaden Reed was a bit sort of inconsistent last year. Was he injured as well? But so he's coming back. And then Christian Watson's another injury concern. Very talented receiver, super fast, great catch radius. I'm a big fan of his. But again, so all their sort of starting receivers have not question marks, but they're in a similar way to Jordan Love, variance. There's who's the number one? I guess they paid Watson, but he's just been so injured.
Sorry, go on. Carry on. I was just going to say, especially for the offense, with it being Matt LaFleur, like this team has always been to me, or at least in this era, as post Aaron Rodgers, has been a team that is like obviously more than the sum of its parts, right? As we've all known about the wide receiver situation, like a big collection of twos or whatever you want to call it. They paid Christian Watson now. They've got a lot of investment in the offense, but I always believe in this team more, to be honest, because I believed in Matt LaFleur and I believed in kind of his football brain, for want of a better term, right? Like, I thought he was one of the best coaches in the NFL. I still do. But what I'll say is that the Packers and him, that relationship seems on the rocks a little bit, right? There was talk, if you remember, at the end of the season that he might not even stick around, regardless of the outcome. And then it all kind of got patched up and it went away. And so I just think this is one of those teams that on the surface looks kind of well set up. They got the quarterback, you got the people have been signed that you've drafted. It seems like things are going relatively well. You've drafted Micah Parsons, which is going to be a big piece. Hopefully, when do we know when he's coming back?
They've traded for him. Well, that's a question. Hang on, we've got that down here.
He's still red on
looking like week 4 or 5 to return.
Yeah. See, it's similar to like the what's the wide receiver in New York called?
Neighbors.
Neighbors. It's similar to Neighbors situation where you're just worried that these injuries that are lingering into week 2 or 3 or whatever. It's like these are the ones where, okay, is the entire season going to be kind of in jeopardy here, or is it going to be at least, at the end of the season when he has the poor season, he comes out and says, well, I was never really right, It's those kind of things that worry me about the Packers, along with the fact that it's not. So if those things happen and it does break apart a little bit, or they don't have the season they want, Micah Parsons doesn't come back and can't make the impact that they wanted him to have, does that impact Matt LaFleur and thus impact the Packers' kind of long-term future and plans going forward? I do wonder.
Right.
I feel like they're kind of torn between, are they in win now mode, or are they in maybe we need to retool as well at the same time? Yeah, they're kind of torn between two very distinct different directions to go in.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think they're thinking this. I think before the Josh Jacobs thing, I think they were thinking that this was, it's a completely returning offense. The line had some issues, but that's a question mark, right? They're hoping it solidifies, but there's been lots of moving parts. Like Morgan, the left tackle, is playing tackle now after 2 years underwhelming at guard. Sean Ryan moved from guard to center, a little better there. Belton, who's currently the right guard, struggled as a rookie. Zach Tom coming off a patella tendon. So there's a lot of moving parts on their offensive line, and then the defense could actually be the real issue here. They brought Jonathan Gannon in. He's switching to a sort of 3-4 hybrid. The roster's a little flux. They brought in Javon Hargrave for $23 million, big signing. He played under Jonathan Gannon in Philly. It's not a clean 3-4. It's kind of a Packers system with existing players, but shifting. So they're kind of doing an in-season scheme shift. So that's a question. Like that, there's going to be communication risks, install problems, especially early on. So that's a question. But the building blocks are there. Edge Cooper, Xavier McKinney, Zaire Franklin was another addition they brought in. Apparently, Edge Cooper was one of the strongest minicamp players, and the defense was playing well. So maybe it is going to work out, but pass rush, I think, is the problem on the defense. I mean, where's that coming from?
They need more. I mean, Luke Van Ness is disappointed, I need to be honest, for my Red Star.
Yeah, mine as well. Yeah, he has, really.
So far, I mean, this is the year for him. I mean, he probably said that last year, but, this is probably the make or break year because it looks like he's going to get the opportunity, especially with the injuries that they've got. But, yeah, you're right. And I think that's been the problem with the Packers defense for a while, is that they've looked strong in the back end, and even what was the Quay Walker started out looking really great, right, in the middle of that defense, and he was dominating for a little while, and they've kind of let him go after he had a couple of tough seasons. So a lot of like
churn
on
the defense.
And I do wonder if it's one of these teams where, they've got an offensive head coach and then they're just looking for the guy to sort of stabilize the defense.
Yeah, I mean, they'll be in a much better place when Parsons comes back. In terms of pass rush coming out the door, I mean, Barin Sorrell is looking like the sort of leading right outside linebacker. I'm not sure he's turning that many head. I think
we get into names already because Tyron Hopper is looking at me square in the face.
Well, Sorrell played 14 snaps in only 2 games as a rookie, and he's likely going to be starting for them on the edge this year. So, it shows to
I
weakness.
like the pickup of denied Dennis Sutton from Penn State. He was my edge Red Star. You'd hope that he can come on early, but again, that's early. That's leaning on a rookie who's currently 3rd on the depth chart there. So, yeah, it's going to be a rough one coming out of the gate for them from that pass rush, especially if Van Ness, as you say, their side, he has disappointed and really not lived up to the first round hype that we saw. And if he can't really kick on this year, I mean, I don't know what's his contract situation like, because what year did he come out? Was that
2023?
23.
So
he's
I guess
up for it.
This will be his year. Oh, did they even turn it down already? Perhaps.
Maybe.
Reese says if they didn't spank the Cowboys a few years back in the playoffs, would they be as forgiven for underachieving? It's true. Like you win those marquee games against the bigger teams, and
I think that goes for Jordan Love, who we've not even really mentioned, but like that is true for him, right? Would he be viewed in the same way had he not won a playoff game? Because it's a big year for him. I mean, how does everyone feel about Jordan Love? I think we're in kind of this weird space with Jordan Love where people are kind of waiting for him to prove it. But I do view him as like like for example, if I was to say to you right now a name like Jordan Love, who started, the Packers are invested and have paid and have started Jordan Love, or you could like start a new experiment with Mac Jones. Oh, I think that's I agree. I think that's crazy. I'd say I would take Jordan Love as well. But I could see some people, that's where like the conversation would start, because some people are big Mac Jones heads, right? And I'm like, is he in that bucket where he's like going to be a reclamation project after he kind of fails in with the Packers, or is he going to kick on and do something?
He's shown more upside than
I agree.
Mac Jones ever has.
Yeah.
Mac Jones is the Roy Keane here, right?
Right. I mean, Mac Jones has shown that he can run a Shanahan offense. That's the problem.
I think it's shrewd that they got Tyrod as the backup in here, though. I think that's a good good head to have behind Jordan Love. With Malik Willis out the door as well.
How old is Tyrod Taylor at this point, though? Is he? Has anyone checked if he can still run?
He's 36.
Probably the best Jets quarterback.
Can he still move?
How are his lungs after he got that injection? Has he ever been the same since?
Yeah. Well,
stop
has
injecting your lungs.
Has
people.
TJ ever been the same?
No.
Exactly. Yeah. Stop doing stuff to your lungs, NFL players.
Sky Moore has ended up on this team, by the way. Just looking at some of the names on the further down the depth chart.
He's a classic example of fantasy darling that does nothing. He's 25. He's going to be 30 and out of the league quite soon.
Once upon a time, they had that just wide receivers coming out of absolutely nowhere, didn't they?
Yeah.
And it's still a little bit. Watson really good on his day. We hope Golden can push through. I do love Savion Williams. I think he's more of a gadget guy, but Jaden Reed when he's on again, it's all a little bit inconsistent with that group. But Bo Melton's still on this team as well, and they've picked up Jerry Rice's son as well. From
I mean, it's a good group. Like you like this group, but there's no who's the leader. Who's
exactly? I think they're relying on that being Christian Watson because they've given him the massive payday.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he's still young and
he's so injury. And the thing is with Christian Watson, people say, like, can you be injury? But the reason Christian Watson, I think, is injury prone is because of the way he catches the ball. He throws everything into being a hands catcher, and that includes his body. Like, he will toss himself into a... That's why he got injured in week 1. They rolled him out. He looked awesome for, like, 2 quarters, and then he dived. Like, it was an incredible catch. And he, like, landed on his shoulder with, like, a 300-pound dude on top of him or something because he like, tosses himself around the field like a rag doll.
And he's also...
So I don't have any...
Yeah, he's 6'4" and breaks his own ankles when he turns. Right. He's so agile that his body can't... His bones can't keep up.
I am concerned about Christian Watson's long-term feasibility. I hope I'm wrong. I mean, as with all these things, you hope that these guys avoid major injury, but... Because I like watching. I think he's a great player. I just wonder that, after having as many major injuries as he had, getting that paycheck. I mean, he got to pay someone, right, in that room. So,
it's a risk.
Jaden Reed got paid as well, right?
Yeah, so ultimately, where does this leave us?
Well, that's an interesting one.
Well, I was going to say, I have gone with the Steelers better than the Packers, but it is literally, I've done the thing where I've ranked the Steelers amongst and done the whole ranking of the NFC. And not to give it away, but the Steelers are literally one spot above the Packers. That's how close it is for me. I think these two teams are really close together. And obviously, the Packers blew us out last year with a lot of the same team that's coming back. But as Gav says, there's a lot of restructure going on as well. And is this going to be the same sort of Packers team? I mean, Jonathan Gannon's going to get Micah Parsons to go zoom, 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 all over the place. But other than that, this team's very close to the Steelers. But I think I just had the Steelers edging them because I think there's just some area. I think there's more areas where the Steelers are stronger than the Packers are. But it is very close.
I've got to be honest.
You have the Steelers edging them?
Sorry, go on, I found this harder. The NFC. I found it much harder.
I think it is.
It feels like there's a clump in the middle, and the Steelers is in that clump.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. And I think Green Bay are in the clump too. So it's tough. I actually went with Green Bay slightly better, but like very, very marginal. But I think that's still PTSD from the whipping they gave the Steelers last year. But
I just lost you for half a sec there, Gav. Sorry, can you just repeat the last thing you said?
I said I had the Packers as edging it slightly, but I think it's PTSD from the Packers whipping the Steelers in that horrible game.
That was the worry for me when I was thinking about it. But I did think, like, has this team changed enough for me to think, actually, maybe not. And with the Parsons early situation as well. Yeah, I just found myself finding more positives on the Steelers when I looked at it than the Packers. Just about.
I think I could be swung because what's doing it for me is the new install of the defense and the loss of leaders on offense. I mean, who is the leader on offense? Obviously, it's Jordan Love. Josh Jacobs is going to be, his head's going to be spinning because of what's going on until that settles down. Who else is it? Aaron Banks. I mean, he came in last year, was a free agent. I mean, I like that guy. He's a leader on the line, guard from San Francisco. But
young group though, like us, very like us.
Yeah, but who?
Without an Aaron Rodgers, like
right. So I could be swung here. Ketts, where did you have these Packers?
Again, I've got a similar kind of clump in the middle. I think there's a lot of teams with lots of question marks, and the Packers definitely have as many question marks as a number of these teams. I've got them, considering I think they've got a higher ceiling, but equally a wider range of outcomes. So I've got the Packers higher. But again, it's, one injury on the Packers could completely change their season completely. I think they could win 10, 11, 12 games, but they could quite easily win, 6, 7 games as well, depending on injuries and things like that. So I've got the Steelers better, but I've got the Packers better than the Steelers, but again, I don't think there's much in it. I think there's a number of these teams where there's lots of question marks.
Okay, so I'm tied. I'm declaring tied. I'm moving back. Ketts has got Packers.
Wait,
Mark's got Steelers.
You're saying tied? What does that mean?
As in, I could be swung either way. I'm 50-50.
Oh.
The more I look at this. Yeah, go on, Si. What are you thinking?
I got to say, my first... Oh, my God, Darian Kennard is on this team. He is Kennard.
He is.
I originally had the Packers... I wouldn't say like firmly, but like I didn't think too strongly about putting them below the Steelers originally. But hearing Mark and thinking of, and a lot of that was to do with like, well, they've got, and I feel this way about a lot of teams that maybe other people don't. Like they've got the established quarterback situation and the established head coach, and that gives them such a heads up in terms of like knowing what they are at least at a base level. But I agree that when you look at the roster, like the wide receiver room, the youth of the offensive line, the relative inexperience of the quarterback. I mean, he's got a lot of experience behind him now at this point, but no real playoff winning experience like Reese points out. Josh Jacobs, obviously, with the situation. It's hard to really make a point that the starting offense and defense, when put together, is more talented than the Steelers one, especially with some of the names the Steelers have got at the moment in time that we're in. Oh, I don't know. I just wonder, is this team like better constructed right now? But then I think about the Matt LaFleur situation with that all being a little bit on the rocks. I think this might be the closest one we have today.
It is really close.
I think it is.
Yeah. I think they've got great potential. I mean, if these wide receivers work out, then they're in a strong position because they'll have a great understanding with Jordan Love, sorry. Those 3 young guys there, they could get real Wi-Fi. They could be a real danger. So I think that the future's bright. But I think the Parsons injury, we don't know about that. The lack of any pass rush. The secondary, I know you're a big Bullard fan, but Carrington Valentine kind of came out of nowhere, 7th round pick. That worked well, but can it be relied on? Xavier McKinney, obviously, he's a headline, but Keyshawn Nixon's kind of solid, but it's not really a really frightening secondary. And then there's no pass rush, so that kills your defense. And even if you've got talented players, you're not getting coverage sacks and you're not getting home. So I think,
I think that defense, I think they've clearly prioritized getting tougher against the run, which I think was an issue last year, and I think they've prioritized interior pressure. Now, that front seven has been kind of completely reworked. It depends on, yes, I don't think we're going to see that in the first kind of, like you say, 4 or 5 weeks of the season, but are they going to get strong, that unit get a grip together, and then be able to generate that pass rush, especially with, Micah Parsons, if he's playing up to, 80-90% of his potential. Ezrin Cooper has always got that kind of blitz ability. You just need to hope that kind of Javon Hargreaves is able to create that sort of interior pressure as well. But I think it's a brand new front seven, so it very much depends on how much they improve or don't improve.
Yeah, brand new front seven, brand new scheme. I think if we were doing the UK Packers podcast and we were doing our upcoming regular annual 25 most important Packers for them, obviously
25 most important Packers just sounds funny. I don't know.
Well, we as we've learned from doing it through the Steelers for the years, it would be quarterback and kicker would be up there. But I think the third player for the Packers would be Lucas Van Ness, because he is their pass rush until Parsons back, and then when Parsons comes back, you need Van Ness to keep pressure up on his side to make Parsons eat. So definitely, Van Ness, a lot is hanging on him, and who's behind him? I mean, nobody.
We should. I almost want to play devil's advocate for a second and just say
absolutely nothing.
What if we take them at the word that Micah Parsons is good by week 4, and then he's back, and then he's Micah Parsons? They have by far the most talented player on either defense, right? So I think that maybe throws some spanner into the works. If you were to just imagine that thought exercise that he's definitely going to be there,
that could probably push me over to the other side. I think that is the case, because he is such a game changer.
But is it the case?
Exactly.
What's happening with him?
Do we maybe need to talk about the other teams in this division, because I feel like
that's a good one. Do we want to almost put this on hold, Gav? Are we allowed to do that? Can we
put it on hold? We can put it on hold. All right, we'll come back to it.
See how we feel.
It's so close, isn't it? I feel like it's so
it really
close.
Is. I think out of both conferences, I think this is the closest one. I think.
All right. Okay. So who's going next? We'll come back. Once we finish talking about the North.
Do you mind if I go?
Please do.
Go for it.
Because I would like to talk about the Chicago Bears, if I may.
Da Bears.
Now, I know DJ Moore has gone out of the room with the Bears, but I do really like Roma Dunze. Luther Burden's a very interesting prospect. They've brought in Khalif Raymond, so that is a wide receiver. 3 wide receivers that I really like there. I like what they're doing on the line. Joe Tooney really kind of helps solidify that. Darnell Wright's a good right tackle. Brought in Garrett Bradbury as well. Interesting what they're doing across that line. Tight end, you've got Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet. We all kind of wondered what was going on with that Loveland pick for them at the time. Actually, I think it really worked out for them, and he's going to be great for them in the long run. I mean, they have 7 tight ends on the roster right now. They're so tight end heavy. Obviously, they won't all stay, but interesting there. DeAndre Swift had a surprisingly good year last year. He's backed up by Carmen Unga as well, and Roshan Johnson still hanging in there, although I don't know what his future with the Bears is.
Roshan Johnson.
His long-term future with the Bears is a bit of a question mark. And then there's Caleb, who, oh man, I mean, we talk about Jordan Love as an inconsistent quarterback, but last year, Caleb's plus points were some of the biggest highlights in the NFL. Like it was what Gav said at the time when he was drafted. He's the maestro, and he was becoming a lot more of that maestro figure last season. Still with some hiccups here and there, but if he's continuing to iron those out and he becomes as good as many people thought he may be, then he is going to be absolutely lethal. And then you look at the Bears' defense.
I don't. You want to run? I don't want to kill your run if you're on it. I just wanted to say about Caleb, but go. Go.
Well, let me. I'll finish my run, but then you go over to the defense, and I think Gervon Dexter has really kind of made us eat our words a little bit. Si, I think he's played well. Really kind of like the front seven that they got there. Yeah, they've had to bring in Devin Bush, and maybe the inside linebacker side of it is not as strong as you may amongst other positions in there, but still, you look around at the secondary is still really strong. You've still got Jalen Johnson in there. You've brought in Kobe Bryant. Still got Kyler Gordon, who's really good. You've drafted Dylan Thieneman, which is really strong as well. All this kind of leading up to say, and I don't know how hot a take this is, but obviously I rank all of these teams in here. Not only do I think the Bears are better than the Steelers, I think they're the third best team in the NFC on paper right now. I really like what the Bears have got going here. And with a second-year head coach in Ben Johnson, who I think it could potentially be in that sort of LaFleur, maybe even up to a McVay within a few years. I just really like what the Bears have got going for them at the moment. Not least they also have the best punter in the league as well. But just what the Bears are building right now, the Build-A-Bear, if you will. I really, really like what they've got going on here, and I think they're absolutely better than the Steelers right now on paper. But this is the thing with the Bears, isn't it? It's all on paper, and then for some reason it just doesn't work out for them. But I think they're the best team in the NFC North right now, and I genuinely think they're right up there and have a chance to really push on this year. If anybody has any pushback on that,
it's not. I haven't got pushback. I think I've just got a little bit of reality check, but I do agree with you. I do think the Bears are better than the Steelers. I do think they're one of the teams in the NFL, NFC rather. That to be.
They are one of the teams in the NFL.
They are one of the teams. Thank you for that fact check. Caleb is developing. We won't get into that because I know you want to talk about Caleb's side, but I think you see consistency in coaching. I think that's huge every year, especially for a developing quarterback. Now they did change offensive coordinator, but he what's his name here? Hang on, I'll just scroll down. Excuse me, Press Taylor. But he was the former pass game coordinator, so it's not like it's a change of scheme; it's consistency. But the only questions really are who plays left tackle. Trapilo, your boy Mark, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean he was hurt.
Yeah, he's injured. Exactly, he's. Yeah. I mean, solid line. One of the better lines in the league probably. But Trapilo out, it raises some questions at who is playing the most important position on that line. Braxton Jones in there at the moment. I'm not sure he's the answer, but maybe they'll just get through. I don't know when Trapilo's back, and then the edge, the pass rush again, same as the Packers. I mean, it's a 4-man front, slightly different setup, but Montez Sweat obviously he's elite, but Austin Booker.
I like Austin Booker.
Yeah, okay, yeah, all right, but he's kind of solid, steady, rather than
young.
Yeah, young. Deo Adegingbo. Shamar Turner, what happened to him? Did he actually kick on at all? Was he?
We hated him.
Was he overdrafted?
Well, I certainly did.
We didn't like him, did we? Overdrafted second round last year. Jonathan Garvin. It just doesn't feel like there's much there. It feels like they could have added, but obviously they went for Devin Bush, Kobe Bryant. They strengthened other areas on that defense, but I do think they're a better team, but I was just raising the question marks. That's all. But sorry,
absolutely. Yeah.
So you want to talk about Caleb? Sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say because Mark was saying Caleb is pressed on, and I feel Caleb. My metaphor for Caleb, if you will, it's like I feel like the last guy stood on the where were the trains leaving in the India-Pakistan war? Which side was it? It was leaving India, I guess, right? Or was it leaving Pakistan? Whatever, I don't remember. I'm the last guy. I'm stood on the station trying to get on that train. I can see everyone getting on the train, heading to Pakistan and or India. And I'm thinking about getting on it. It looks getting very full. But I'm still in the back of my mind, I'm like, Ben Johnson's the only reason this train's here. Like, I still don't know that I actually inherently believe in Caleb Johnson or if he's like just a big stack of cards waiting to fall over.
Were you a hater in the draft process?
I wasn't. You know what? I was kind of like half a hater. I saw what he did. I was a vibe hater, I think. Yeah, I think I was like, yeah, you can't overlook some of the great plays, but I was like, there's something off about this dude. And it wasn't just the nail polish.
Okay, I was going to say you just didn't like the
I knew
nail
you were going to
polish.
say that. But to be honest, I mean, maybe this is like something though. Maybe I do have this like subconscious view of him as like a little crybaby mummy's boy. Probably I do. Because that's just not how we view NFL players. But maybe that's on us. Maybe we need to open our minds and our hearts to new kinds of individuals that can have talent that aren't just your typical, rock-headed, I'm a football player kind of guy, right?
We've done that, Si. We're waiting for you to.
Oh, it's just me. I'm the only one.
yeah. You are the only bigoted.
Oh, damn! I'm bigoted now. Look, I don't know. Caleb, but it's not just that stuff. It's like the whole Caleb Williams experience. I don't know.
I get it. Yeah.
I don't like his vibe. I've never liked his vibe. I don't like his answers. I don't like the way he talks. I don't like the way he acts on the field. I don't like the guy. I'm out.
I think that there's a chance this is the Caleb Williams welcome to the NFL season.
Yeah, he's gonna be the best quarterback in the NFL by the end of the season, just to spite me.
Yeah, well, he's got that playmaking ability, the maestroness, right, up his sleeve, where he can just create out of nothing, avoid.
He made some stupid plays last year.
Yeah, just
unbelievable.
Ghosting defenders when they think they've got a sack, and then hurling it downfield to you can see it, Bird and Adunze, right? If Adunze's foot is
45-degree angle, and he's still hurling,
flicking it into the end zone. So it's just that flaw, but I think it's just the acclimation of the speed of the NFL. He's had time now. This is his third season, right? So I think,
and again, look at the support structure around him at this point. I mean, look at his first season. I'm sorry, after the first season, I was kind of like, I was right. That guy is going to suck. But people were like, there's great moments. I was like, yeah, sure. There was great flashes on tape in college too. But like, I was like, my problem is I don't see him having the consistency. He seems now to be growing in the way that Josh Allen did. Not to say he's going to be Josh Allen, obviously a very different player. But you remember what we were like about Josh Allen after year one compared to where he was in year 2, year 3, year 4 after he got
I think a better comp is Bryce Young. I think where we were so out. He was a bust. He was done.
Well, that's interesting because is Bryce Young out of that farm yet? Is Bryce Young?
But that's how long it takes for these creative out of pocket creators. These jazz players, these dudes that don't play in the rigid structure. I think it takes a little
by the
longer.
way, I'm being quite harsh, but he's a fun player to watch, right? I mean, it's undeniable.
Incredibly fun, yeah.
Yeah, he's very fun. It's a good thing he's in the NFL. I'm kind of being a bit tongue in cheek with all this, but
anyway,
I am.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go.
I was just going to move us on. Ketts, have you finished? Should we just move on and say the
Bears are better?
The Bears are better and move on because you've got.
Is it crazy that we're so confident now that the Bears are better though? It's like,
I don't think
it's
true. What a world we live in.
Yeah.
Well, this is the NFL for you. This is why I renounced round ball football because this doesn't
Ketts
happen.
Just angles in here with his hot take.
I agree with you to a large extent, Mark. I've got the Bears 4th overall in the NFC.
I felt like I was crazy for having them that high, but yeah.
No, I think that's fair. Just a comment, just to give some context. Caleb Williams, is this his difficult third album as a maestro? ?
Oh, I like that.
But yeah, I love the collection of pass catches.
That was better than the Calcutta train thing.
Train of unknown origin and/or destination.
That would have been good if you knew where the train went. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I just remembered there was a train.
It's like Northern Rail. You never know where it's going to end up.
Yeah.
There's a very slim percentage of our audience that knew what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah. That's like.
But
most
we like
of
the
reference.
I like the reference. It's geopolitical. I enjoyed it. I was lapping it up.
I will say, I very much like the Jordan Vandenberg pickup. You talk about the rookies there. I think he could really come on early and enhance that line. Very nice. Obviously said about Dylan Feeneman as well, but Sam Roush in that tight end, that really crowded tight end room.
What are they good planning with these tight ends? I mean, Colston Loveland, I think this is a breakout year for him. He came on strong. Cole Kmet's is solid. And then Sam Roush is like a blocking. I think he's going to be, I've got high hopes for him. I know he was one of my guys, my Red Star in the draft, 3rd round pick, maybe a little higher than people expecting, but I think there's a little bit of George Kittle about him. If you block first, but you can catch. He just needs to iron out a few of his past game things, but yeah, high ceiling for him.
Just want to double check as well. They've got Noah Sewell and they've got Nephi Sewell. Noah is related to Penei, isn't he? Are they both related?
Is he the linebacker?
Yeah, they're both.
Then yes, he was. I don't know about Nephi though. I've not heard of that.
Yeah, Nephi.
Judging by appearances, I'd say Noah is. I think he was. Yeah, he was right linebacker.
I don't remember Nephi Sewell.
Where's Nephi? What position is he? I'm not seeing him here.
He's also linebacker.
Oh, he's linebacker as well.
Noah.
Oh, right, okay. I'd say there's a good chance. I mean, I don't want to judge a book by a cover, but they look similar ethnicity. I wasn't going. Moving on. Right, so I think we can all agree the Sills are nice people.
A few points to make. Devin Bush is on this team. Welcome, All-Pro Devin Bush or whatever he is.
Yeah, exactly. He had a better season last year.
No, I'm tired.
Okay, hang on. We need to look at this, actually. We need to talk about Devin Bush. What the hell's going on out here? Let's look at his PFF.
I don't believe it. I'll never believe it.
Season.
He could be the best linebacker in the NFL, and I'd still tell you it was crap.
Well, he had that devastating injury, right? I mean, is there a chance we got duped here?
Nah.
Do you know what was devastating? The draft pick. That's what's devastating.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's devastating is that poor cat that he threw from the window.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Did someone throw him off a balcony?
I mean,
we do.
He was fourth out of 88 linebackers on PFF last year with an 87.6 overall grade. 81 solo tackles, 2 sacks, 39 assists, 1 forced fumble. I mean, I don't know how you could...
second best linebacker on the Browns.
How you could argue that he's not a quality linebacker. I mean, looking at the grades here, there's blues all over the place. There's a couple of stinkers, tackling, not there. But what was it that went wrong with Devin Bush for the Steelers? Now, for me, he started pretty good out of the gate. Then he got that injury, and then his change of direction, his recovery speed, his sideline to sideline just evaporated, and he turned into a statue back there. That was my issue. Then he had the cat problem, social media issues. Everyone hated on him, and it just felt like he needed to move. Now he did move. Things have turned around. So who was right here? Were the Steelers right? The eval was right, and it just took a little bit of time. We know linebackers a tough position to come into the NFL and play. There was a lot of expectation put on him after Shazier. Did we move on too soon?
Some players just aren't right for the teams, and I think it's not even a case sometimes of the player was right or the team was right. Just sometimes it just doesn't work out for both parties, and it's best to move on in both ways. And I think that's the case here with Bush and the Steelers.
So I think we're all agreed the Bears are better than the Steelers in 2026.
100%.
Can I take us from Cats to Lions, please, if I may?
Oh, yes, this will be good.
So, I think the Lions are still one of the most talented teams, certainly in the NFC, if not the NFL. They no longer look like a clear conference favourite. I think the roster is loaded, but there's several key questions remaining, and it was a disappointing 9-8 season, missed playoffs in 2025 last year. You look at the roster, particularly on offense. You've got Isaac Tesla, you've got Amon-Ra St. Brown, you've got a really good line led by Penny Sewell in particular. I'll not mention Blake Miller for fear of Mark scoring a point. You've got Sam Laporta, you've got Jamar Gibbs, and it's led by Jared Goff. So I think the offense is really, really good. I think the concerns from my point of view are more on the defensive side of the ball. Now, obviously, Aiden Hutchinson, contrary to my initial draft take, is one of the best pass rushers in the league. I really worry about the other side of the pass rush, though. I don't think there almost is another side. I think the concern about the pressure that he's basically got to create all the pressure on himself, on other teams by himself all the time, and then hope that the ball then ends up with the secondary. But then you look at the secondary, and that's had its concerns as well. Injuries in particular. Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph. You'd hope that they return, but again, that's a bit of a question mark and some uncertainty in the coverage without those two in particular. Now they've clearly tried to improve the team with a number of kind of acquisitions that they've made in terms of the depth. Chuck Clark, Christian Eisenson, Roger McCreary. They've clearly tried to address that depth in the secondary. We'll see if Ennis Rakestraw can improve in his kind of second, third season. I just worry about the lack of pass rush in that division with some of the other teams that are either improving or dangerous on their day. I think, again, a number of these teams in this division have a really wide range of outcomes. And I just worry with a couple of those injuries and maybe that lack of pass rush. I think the offense is great, but I just have question marks about the defense. What do you guys think?
So are you saying they are clearly better than the Steelers?
I've got them ahead of the Steelers, but they are in that kind of that kind of glob in the middle, admittedly with a number of their divisional opponents as well.
Okay, well, let me be contentious here because I had the Steelers better than the Lions.
I'm not surprised.
I'm famously down on the Lions, so I do have my biases. 9-8 last year. Is this window closing? Is it ajar? I think this is this is a team with great core talent. I'm not denying that. The spine of the team is there, but I think this is a retooling team. They've got a new offensive coordinator in Drew Petzing. That always creates problems for a team. It's a shift. The focus at OTAs was using Gibbs more in the receiving game rather than in checkdowns. Now I do like that. That they should be unlocking Gibbs. He's one of their better players. Every team is terrified of what Jahmyr Gibbs can do. So if I was in charge, if I was the owner of the Lions, I would be saying, "Can we get the damn ball to Gibbs, please?" So it's good they're doing that. But you mentioned it. I mean, Arnold looking at a life sentence. We talked about that in the build-up. Branch return unclear. The O-line, Taylor Decker gone. Frank Ragnow retired. Graham Glasgow gone. Penei Sewell moving from from right tackle, his natural position, to left tackle. Blake Miller's come in. Some people around here are big fans, others not. But you look at the rest of the line there. You've got new free agents, new guys coming in: Cade Mays, Ben Barch, Juice Scruggs, Larry Borum. Tate Ratledge. I was a big fan of him, but his rookie season wasn't all that. And then you move over to the defense. Was very predictable last year. They played in base, their 4-3 base more than any other team. So they're looking to switch it up. So changing offense philosophy, changing defensive philosophy, injuries to Branch and Joseph, their best players in the secondary, and then they're going to lose their rising star in Arnold. So I think this is a team that is maybe people are going to overrate than what's actually happening. Discuss.
Looking at that, actually, I have just reordered my teams. I'd done this ranking before the Arnold news came out, actually. I think there's an argument. I don't want to give away where the Steelers are, but I can see an argument for the Steelers being better than the Lions now, taking that into account. I think their offense is great, but with some of the question marks, especially in that secondary, with Arnold out as well, there's real concerns on that defensive side of the ball.
I don't think they've drafted that well this year. I don't know. What do you guys
think? Think they have either. I think it's a bit of a meh draft. It doesn't help that Kendrick Law, who they got in as the wide receiver, he's out for the year already. So that's one rookie off the table already. And you only drafted 2 offensive rookies. A bit of a dull one from them, which is
might be what they need though. A slightly duller draft. I mean, taking a tackle, if Blake Miller works out as a late first round pick, I mean, obviously you don't know what these guys will be. But
dull, I just think in terms of the name value of it. I mean, you look at some of the other rookies they got here. Derek Moore didn't really light a fire under me at Michigan. Keith Abney, kind of okay. Skylar Gilhoward was part of that Texas Tech front, all right, but again, didn't really shine. I just think it was slightly underwhelming from a Lions perspective for a team that do draft well. Now, all that saying, I do still have the Lions above the Steelers. I've actually got them 6th in my overall NFC rankings. And I think it is just off the power of that offense because you've got Jared Goff, a very accomplished quarterback, who has Jahmyr Gibbs running behind him, probably the best running back in the entire league, some may say. Throwing it to Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's fantastic. Jameson Williams, who really came on. Isaac Tesla, who had a fantastic year last year, his rookie year. And you got Sam Laporta in there as well, who might have had a little bit of a down year last year, but we know he can get it done as well. Behind a line, that has Penei Sewell in it, which is automatically, wow, okay. And Tate Ratledge didn't have the best year, but he's young, he can come on. I like Christian Mahogany as well. I just think
I agree with you. The line is decent, but it's not the Lions line, which was remember they started this build back in whenever it was 2020 or 21 with all the trenches. Those eras are gone. I mean,
exactly. Yeah,
it's not that same line.
That is definitely going to be in the building. I mean, you look at on our lads here, the people they brought in behind them as well: Ben Barch, Juice Scruggs, Larry Borum. they're really trying to get the depth in there. But I do think this is a line that probably is in a bit of a mini rebuild as well, but it still has some core pieces in there. And I think Blake Miller, famously, me and Mike high on him, Ketts not so much.
Okay,
but I think he's going to do a really good job.
Let's have a show of hands then. So I'm Steelers better than Lions.
I'm going Lions better than Steelers still. I just think I know the defense has its problems, but I think the Steelers offense probably has some problems as well. And this Lions offense, when it's all clicking, is elite.
Okay, Ketts, really is. Where did you settle?
Oh, Ketts is going to be right back. I'm going to say that the I can't go there with you, Gav. I'm with Mark.
Okay.
The Lions' offense is too.
I think for now, it wouldn't surprise me if we changed our mind next year.
Sure.
I think,
I think a lot of that would, it would depend on how Jared Goff is trending as well.
That's the one thing about this team. Like, I think they really need to start looking at quarterbacks.
They do
ASAP.
I take advantage of this team.
There'll be a quarterback team early on next draft, I think, because Goff is, what is he now? 30, mid-30s? Is Goff now? Yeah, they've really got to look towards the future.
Well, they took Altmaier, who some people quite like. He's 31.
Well,
31 Goff. He's not.
Oh, yeah, it's early.
Super old.
He's maybe got.
It depends, like how do you want to? Because they've spent time with Goff now. They've invested with Goff. The fans love Goff. It's very. Are they believing now that he can kick with it? Is Goff? Basically, is Goff trending in a way where he's going to get older and be able the game slowing down to such an extent that he's getting better, or is he just not going to kick on from here?
Well, I think is he the premier game manager? Is it between him and Brock Purdy? Is he the premier game manager in the NFL right now?
Feels a little bit like it, doesn't it? Yeah.
Right. So age maybe doesn't affect him so much. Oh yeah, Darnold's a good shout. They're in that conversation. But it feels like Goff could go on playing the way he does for a while because he's never been the greatest mobile. He's not a mobile quarterback. He can run for a first down, but I think there's longevity there. I think we're writing him off a little early. If Aaron Rodgers can play until 42, then Jared Goff at 31. It's not that I'm
writing him off as a quarterback. It's that I'm saying, like, is he the quarterback that's going to take advantage of how good this Lions team looks?
Yeah.
There's already a lot of guys that we can argue have been kind of wasted on. Well, not wasted because the team's been very competitive, but haven't been able to maximize what they had when they've been clearly at times so far and away the best offense in the league. I don't know, man. And you look at the defense. We were speaking about the defense like it's nothing. Aiden Hutchinson, I love Aleem McNeil and those Malcolm Rodriguez and Jack Campbell are good linebackers.
True, but then who's playing safety? Brian Branch, Joseph Kirby out. Is that so? We've got Chuck Clark and who else in the house? Is Ketts back?
I am.
So you've got the deciding vote, my friend, at least until we decide if there's a tie or not. So are you saying the Steelers or the Lions are better?
I'm going to go with the Steelers.
Oh, yes.
So just for complete cards on the table, I had the Lions originally at 7th overall in the NFC. I've dropped them down to 9th.
Man, you
just because of one little kidnapping and armed robbery. All right, 4 each, but still.
Right, so we're tied.
Allegedly, but yes.
We're tied. So what do we do here?
Oh.
Someone needs to cross the...
I'm not even very... I don't even feel like me and Mark are very close, though.
I thought we had 3.
I feel like we all have some thing behind this.
Yeah, I don't think I can be.
I don't think it's that close. The Lions are way better than the Steelers. What are we talking about, guys? Right, we need to sit down and have a conversation. You are all rating the Steelers way too high.
I think you're looking into the past. You're looking into the mirror, not through the windscreen.
I think if you picked between the two teams, you'd clearly have the Lions offense, but you'd clearly have the Steelers defense.
If these two teams played right now, and the sports book shows, if these two teams play right now, and the sports book shows, the Lions would be favourites.
So who's got the better quarterback?
The Lions, because they have a
I hate that question when it comes
next
to the
year.
Steelers. Yeah, I know. I hate that question when it comes to the Steelers because it's like Aaron Rodgers is 39 or whatever.
He's 42.
Yeah, you've just lost me. I'm going to go Lions better.
You turncoat. How dare you?
Because it was your argument that changed it because you mentioned the quarterback position, which is, they've got Goff this year. We've got Aaron Rodgers, but then next year, Aaron Rodgers
but it's not about
drives
next
off
year.
into the sunset. We don't know.
It's where they rank right now in the NFC.
It's about the future and the roster building and everything.
Well, you can say that, but it isn't.
But that does play into this year where they still have a very strong
Just look at the weapons and the line.
Is it a bad thing if the Lions have a bad year this year and then get a really good quarterback? No. It's a tough division.
Here's the thing.
Bears are good. Packers are maybe good.
I think the team is better, right? But I will say this for your point, Gav. I do think the Lions are a team that runs probably more than any other team just off vibes, and the vibes are creaking a little bit. Dan Campbell just looks like a sad puppy every time he speaks to the media. And the season hasn't started yet, which concerns me.
Waning a little bit, yeah. I think those near Super Bowl misses are starting.
Yeah, the window is closing. That's what I started with. And this line...
does that make the team? I guess it makes
the identity was that line, and that line doesn't exist anymore. They're just smoking vapors here. There's nothing left.
Now I'm like, maybe I should go over to Gav's side because maybe he's right that the team's going to just collapse.
This Lions team can beat anybody in the NFL on the day.
Yeah. It's a better team. That's the problem.
The
team's better.
It's a better team, yeah.
But is the team going to have a worse record because of just outside events? Oh, well, inside events, but just events?
No. Are we really sure it's a better team? Jameson Williams has flashed. Isaac Tesla's a catch radius monster.
Jameson Williams.
Here's the question.
Amon Brown's great. Sam Laporta's injured but great, and Jahmyr Gibbs is great. They've got 3 great skill position players.
Everyone is great.
They've got a fantastic left tackle. Well, right tackle who's now playing left tackle. The rest of the team, I've got questions. Brian Branch is great, but he's injured.
Let me put it another way. They've got the best running back in the league. They've got the best tackle in the league, and they have the best receiver in the league. Well, okay, not the best, but maybe almost.
Egyptian God King, best. Here's the thing. Can the Lions win a shootout? Because they will be in a shootout every week because of their secondary. They will have to score 40 points a game because their opponents will score 35 points a game.
And they will.
And with this offense, I'd give them a hope to do that.
And guess what? Aiden Hutchinson's a dominant. No one's talking about him in this conversation, but he's like a TJ Watt type. He can he can win games on defense like TJ Watt did.
He is. But it's the other side of I think from a pass rush perspective, it's where else is the pressure coming from? So if you're a defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, you put 2 guys on Hutchinson every play, and then you don't have to worry about the rest.
Right.
That's my concern.
And who in the secondary you're worried about? Keith Abney, Christian Izian, Chuck Clark, DJ Reed, Mr. Rogers, Rock Ya-Sin.
Nobody. You're chucking balls 40 yards for fun.
The Terry and Arnold thing just could not have come at a worse
It's killed them.
Moment.
They've lost 3 of their starters and 3 of their best players on their secondary.
When's Brian Branch back?
No one knows. It's a mystery.
Oh, God.
It's been bad.
It is tough when a team
of an SUV and dumped off somewhere.
Dumped under the New Jersey Turnpike. It's tough when a team has punted completely on a position or an entire area of the field.
All right, where are we going with this?
I don't.
Well, I guess
do we need to come back to this? I didn't think
torn Achilles.
This is
Brian Branch has a torn Achilles. That could be it.
No,
could be it.
Don't say it.
I don't want it to be it.
Horrible.
But if a team doesn't have a secondary, can they be better than the Steelers?
Yes.
Yeah, because they've got a quarterback.
We've got a quarterback. What is this? What is this Rodgers slander?
No,
I won't have it.
I know it looks bad because I think sometimes we get the tendency to do this, right? We'll look at we'll say, right, okay, Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, these names that we know are out, right? And so they have nothing, but they do have men there. Men will be stood in those positions. I don't necessarily know who they are.
Chuck Clark is the guy.
But they're going to be okay. We know who Chuck Clark is, but
we know who Rocky Singh is. We know who DJ Reed.
They might not be great, but they're going to be there.
Yeah,
they're going to be there.
They're Jags. They're Jags. So they've got a secondary of Jags. They've got Malcolm Rodriguez is a nice story on Hard Knocks. Is he actually a good? I mean, he makes big plays. All right, I'll give you that. Him and Campbell are good. All right, they're a pairing, but they're not super electric, are they? They're both big playmakers. They're run stuff. They're kind of linebackers I like. They're 1980s linebackers, the pair of them. Where's the speed in the secondary and the back 7 or back whatever it is, back 6? Where is it?
Maybe they make a trade.
Damon Clark, I like him as well, the guy out of LSU. But again, he's another same linebacker in this mold. Where's their sideline to sideline speed? Where's their spy for the quarterback? They're exposable. I can find ways of beating them.
They've got 18.5 million cap space left.
So what, we're ranking potential here in that they could bring someone in?
No, but in terms of if you're looking at doing a trade or something like that, where are you getting the money from? Have you got the cap space to do it? Which is what I'm looking at
as well. They've got Greg Dortch, DAZN favourite Greg Dortch on this team now.
The Dortchmeister. Right, so are we still tied?
I just don't think I can come over to saying that with the Steelers are a better team than the Lions. It seems. I mean, we're going to get clowned if we come out and say that.
No, we're not. This bias. I think we've got to.
The bias is saying the Steelers are better.
Why is that bias?
Do you remember the Steelers beat the Lions last year?
The Lions were trash. They had a losing record last year.
Am I being blinded?
No, they didn't. 9-8. Sorry, 9-8. They had a winning record, but it wasn't very good. Sorry, apologies. Correction.
Am I being blinded? Yeah, but also bear in mind, I don't really care about the record thing because we play an AFC filled with crap teams, and they play in an NFC team league conference filled with great teams. So it's just irrelevant to me. A 9-8 record in the NFC is frankly better than a 11 and whatever 11 win record in the AFC.
Can be, yeah.
I've got to apologise for our American listeners. It's 10:30 in the evening here in the UK. Midday over there in some states. Like Simon swearing like I say. Not here, not there. You know, we're on the TV.
Swearing now. Let me be very clear.
Anyway, carry on. Anyway, redacted.
If you don't like it, suck a dick. Fuck off.
You are going to get us banned off YouTube.
Now I apologise for the people in the car that were trying to listen to this with the kids.
Oh no!
I'm like that tennis guy. I'm like the tennis guy where he's like, no, don't swear on live TV. Okay, let's her ask a whole other question, and then it's just like,
oh yeah, that guy. Oh, not the sewer.
Simon's in the sewer.
We're not coming back to this team as well. We've already got to come.
Yeah,
back
we can't.
To
yeah,
so
well,
we need to
we did say let's talk about the whole division.
I feel like Ketts sided with us.
All right, let me ask you. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this: who's better out of the Packers and the Lions?
Lions.
Right.
Yeah, I think this is where we're drawing our dividing line. Is that I think me and Mac are just higher on the Lions fundamentally. You seem to think the Lions are so downward on a downward trajectory, which I could see. But I'm like, is it really gonna bottom out? Are they gonna get? They're going to have a losing record. I don't know.
Their window is like one of those social housing blocks in South London, where if you open the window, it like almost falls out and smashes down into the car park. It's like held on by paper clips and coat hangers. That's how fragile their Super Bowl window is right now.
I'll tell you what, this episode could have been where do the Steelers rank in the NFC North?
Okay, so
maybe
Packers
we have to just call this a
better.
tie. Maybe we just have to call this a tie. I don't know.
No, Ketts just said Packers better, Lions better.
Oh.
Yep.
There we go.
Wait,
Lions
what are we making some sort of trade for the Packers?
Okay, so Ketts has decided Steelers are not better than he swung the vote basically there. If that's what you're sticking with, Ketts.
Yep.
Fine. All right, just for expediency, I'm prepared to accept it. Okay, Steelers are...
Go on, Si, you can give us an easy one.
All right, okay. The Minnesota Vikings. What is the story of the Minnesota Vikings? Okay, well, during the partition of India, trains ran across undivided India, including what was then Calcutta and other major hubs towards the newly created state of Pakistan. But what I may have failed to reference earlier was the dark history of this, of course, that many of these trains would arrive without any survivors, leading to why they're called partition trains and why they're so powerful and symbolic with mass migration to this day. But one team that won't be dealing with any mass migration, at least towards the stadium by fans, is the Minnesota Vikings, who, more than any other team, failed to get on that last train out of Calcutta and let now Super Bowl winning Sam Darnold out of the building after winning 14 games. An offense that we all at the time probably nodded along and agreed with, but ultimately has come back to bite them harder than really any other recent decision I can think of outside of the Deshaun Watson trade to any team. Where are they left now? Well, Kyler Murray resides, we assume, in the starting position at quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings this year to work with head coach Kevin O'Connell. But is JJ McCarthy going to be a Stinky Davis in the locker room, or is he going to sign up to the program, or is he going to be sitting in the side of the classroom saying that maybe it's a little bit awkward, but it's definitely not awkward because it's just like a normal school where two people sat on opposite sides of the classroom and didn't speak, just totally normal, not awkward, definitely totally cool. Carson Wentz, meanwhile, is still there, as is Max Brosma. Now, that's got to be an interesting classroom.
Brosma, was he TCU?
Minnesota.
TCU.
Oh, he was Minnesota. Okay.
He was Minnesota, yeah. He's the homeboy.
Local kid.
But I can almost... I would even be close to putting a kebab on that Carson Wentz is a starter for at least 4 weeks of this season.
Oh, for 4 weeks? I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, no, I would.
If you gave me a week, I would.
Some sort of COD update will happen. Kyler will be out of the picture. JJ's a bust.
well,
I'm sorry.
hang on.
You're Red
So
Star,
hold on.
but-
We've got some COD updates this year because this year we have both a Black Ops and Black Ops 2 remake coming, and of course the traditional COD in November. So it could be a double whammy year for Kyler
and
Murray.
GTA 6 is coming.
And GTA 6, you know he's in on that.
Done.
Oh,
Kyler's done.
you're right.
He's retiring.
Why did no wonder the Cardinals let him go. They saw the timeline for the games coming out in 2026, and they were like, "Nah, you can have this guy." In all seriousness, though, what do we think of Kyler Murray on this Vikings team? Because
the thing is, I quite actually like the move that the Vikings have made. I think it's actually a smart move on their part. It's just what Kyler Murray are we going to get? Like, we're not going to get 2020 Kyler, are we? Like, it's just, I don't know. This team is in such a flood, and I really feel sorry for Kevin O'Connell because I think he's a great head coach.
He is,
but he is just being handed dud after dud after dud. And I mean, so who's this?
Well, they finally got rid of Mensah, right? What was his name? Adafe Mensah. Was that his name?
Kwesi Adofo-Mensah.
Yeah. So at least they've got, I guess, some element of a new start in there in the executive staff. But I agree. Kevin O'Connell's not been given a fair shake, really, and
he's still got Brian Flores. He's still there as DC, so that's really good. And made some interesting moves. That Caleb Banks moves is interesting. I'm wondering when he's going to be ready to go in the draft pick, their first round draft pick. Dominique Orange, I think, is a really nice pickup from them as well. But you see a couple of old Steelers boys in there. James Pierre now is listed.
Whoa, Isaiah Loudermilk? He's not on that roster anymore. Does anyone owe me a sandwich?
No, that sandwich is rotted into. I have the plaque of winner of that bet. Definitely.
For a second, I got excited before they had Mason Rudolph, but they have Trayvon Rudolph instead.
And they got James Pierre. They've got all the great ex-Steelers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Although he's starting for them, which is a bit.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the worry.
But you got to think
this is a tough team.
That was a guy that Flores knew from his time in Pittsburgh, so he knows what he's capable of.
I don't understand. Can you tell me this, Gav? Well, I don't understand why. I get what happened with the quarterback in Minnesota, but why is that? Why is the defense collapsed? Why is this team like? Why is the roster so awful across the defensive side of the ball as well?
Well, they lost Jonathan Grenard, right, via trade, and released Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave. I don't know if it's awful. They've just retooled the front, and they brought Pierre in as
Turner in there.
Oh yeah,
Dallas Turner is the guy.
How old's Andrew Van Ginkel at this point? He's getting
exactly. I mean, he's good when the lights are
31.
He's 31.
Like Isaiah Rodgers, but other than that,
I guess I was just thrown off by the secondary looking a bit.
But I think this is one of those teams that their defensive philosophy means the sum is greater than the parts, and
That's true.
They have got some elite skill talent, particularly on offense, but on defense as well. Dallas Turner, I think we can agree.
Did he lose my boy, the middle linebacker?
Oh
no, he's there. He's there. Okay,
he's down as second string.
How dare they?
Yeah. Flores' defense finished third in yards allowed. Been one of the best defenses in the league at limiting explosive plays and forcing turnovers. So the scheme lifts all boats. They've rebuilt that defensive front.
How did they end in 2025 on defense? Because I remember that they were like a really dominant defense early, but I thought they'd kind of like fallen off. But maybe that's just because they'd fallen out of the story because of the quarterback situation.
Yeah, I don't think they were as dominant, but injuries take hold, don't they?
Sure.
Yeah, Jake Golday was a linebacker I wasn't particularly high on, but you could see that I think he's more of a scheme fit for them. I guess the question is, new O-line coach, the local beat writers saying more physical run game emphasis, wide zone, double teams, more fullback. They brought in your boy Breederson, taking over from CJ Ham.
From them.
Yeah.
The Vikings were third in total team defense last year, actually. Wow. 32 touchdowns allowed is one of the lower figures in the league as well.
And the line's good on paper, right? Darasaur back from injury, but is he an injury risk?
The Vikings. You said the Lions.
Did I? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm still thinking about the damn Lions because I'm still annoyed. Vikings, good line on paper. Darasaur back from injury. But the line from last year, the 2025 starting five, only played 83 snaps together. So it's a line in flux, no cohesion there. kind of, again, the line is kind of, apart from Darasil, who is a quality left tackle, dancing bear type, it's sum is greater than parts again there. So
I do like for that though that they have Donovan Jackson, who was used to that at Ohio State before he was drafted. He's already used to having to switch around in a bit of an inconsistent O line, so that's good, and he's a good talent.
So there are questions, and I think the addition of Juwan Jennings is that's a good signing for them. I think he's a hoe. He's got more upside than KJ Osborne and these other jabronis they've had playing that number 3 slot. He's a real threat. He's a deep threat. He's a pain in the butt. He's got big catch rate.
Told me suck his dick, man. It is what it is.
Physical guy. Again, apologies to the afternoon people.
He says some things that you should not say to another man ever.
So I like that addition. I think Juwan Jennings is a sneaky underrated.
Yeah. Jefferson and Addison were screaming out for a really good 3, I think, and he's a great addition to that.
Yeah, he at times in San Fran, because of the electrical substation throbbing away, he's been number 1 receiver for them.
Yeah, why does the electrical substation never affect Juwan Jennings?
I know, because he's a hoe.
Throb.
Maybe we need to test him. Oh, do we need to drop for a throb?
I just don't need I don't need a throbbing.
A throbbing Jennings sounds like a real.
It was a throbbing substation, not Jennings. It was the electrical substation that was throbbing.
Yeah, he wasn't throbbing, and that's why he was driving.
Mr. Teasley, we've got the option to sign a throbbing Jennings.
He's Scottish? Sounds Scottish.
Also Scottish.
No, that was Irish.
No, his name sounds Scottish.
All right. So what do we think? I think this is close. I think this whole damn division.
I think this is close.
Oh. See, now I've been convinced by what
Justin Jefferson is the only thing that makes this close.
You're joking. You're joking, aren't you? This is an elite skill, and the defense is the scheme. I think.
Hold on, let me decipher this because I came into this thinking like Mark. My head was like, yeah, the Vikings are way worse than the Steelers. Like I don't even need to think about it. But if, and it's a big if he can find a stable, like just average level, consistent level of like basic passing play, like if Jacoby Brissett was slotted in here instead of Kyler Murray, and I'm assuming Kyler Murray can do this, but it just something about the Kyler Murray experience behind this line. It's all a bit messy, and I don't know if it's going to come off. But if it does, just at a basic level, I think Gav's right. I mean, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Juwan Jennings is a beautiful 3. It might be one of the best 3s in the league. Might be the best 3 in the league, to be honest. And then, like you said, I don't like the running back situation, which puts me off. It's like a frustrating roster. It's like, wow, yeah, like so exciting. We've got like this defense that was 3rd in overall defense last year. Who knew? And then you've got these elite receivers, but the running backs are gross. The quarterback is like,
I don't know. Jones injured last year. He could come back.
Aaron Jones is busted. I'm sorry, it's done.
He could be busted, but there's a world where he's not.
As
busted.
is Jordan Mason. Sadly, I thought he was going to be great, and he sucked.
Right, he did. But that might be a scheme thing, and also they didn't have a quarterback last year. So, and
do they have a quarterback this year?
Well, that's the question. They do play in a dome. You know, if this was the old Viking Stadium, then no, Murray would have 0 chance at all. But I'll say this.
Right now, I think that they have to be slightly below the Steelers. But it's one of these ones where if Kyler Murray shows up in week 1 and looks a certain way, then I'd be like, oh, maybe the Vikings are going to have something to say in this division after all.
Exactly. It all hinges on that one thing.
Yeah. Because without it, it's just a complete... I mean, without it, it's last year again. You know? Yeah. It's J.J. McCarthy wiping his ass. It's
I guess the Caleb Banks injury really doesn't help because he was kind of the big addition on that line. And what
still winning the first round?
What was the risk with him in the draft? Injury, and it only went and happened. So you know that's why we flagged those injuries in the draft, isn't it? You know, it's a risk. Yeah. But Dallas Turner, I mean, I don't know. But I'm prepared to be swung here. Ketts, what are you saying about the Vikings?
Again, cards on the table. I've got all of the NFC North above the Steelers.
So he agrees with me.
Above the Steelers? I thought this was...
I must say, Mark, I was with you. I thought this was going to be obviously not. Yeah, now, I'll admit with the conversation again, reviewing these rosters again has reminded me there's some players here that are like, okay, you know what, fair enough. But I just think in terms... And it surprises me. It surprised me with you, Gav, because it almost feels like the opposite argument to the one we just had with the Lions, where... What have they done to like? They've not shown anything here. Like
what have I said about
trajectory.
a million times about in this segment about the Vikings? It's sum of parts. It's Flores.
Is it so? It's a Kevin O'Connell. It's a still believing in the system. It's Flores on defense. It's the coaching staff is
Flores.
okay.
It's good defense and enough on offense, isn't it? It's they're a team. They've got a lower floor than the others. They're definitely volatile. They're a lower floor team than any of the other teams in their division, but they've got a talent to win 11 games. Especially with, like you say, that wide receiver 3.
You know, I feel like I'm coming into this. I mean. I feel like I'm coming into this and being convinced, like almost of the opposite of what I assumed I was going to think.
We talked about it. Was it last week about best 3 receivers in the league? These guys got to be in the conversation. Has to be
for a full 3. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah, 100%. It's just
not much behind them.
That's all they've got, and there's no one to throw them to. You've got a 5'10" quarterback who can't see over his line, a line that's crap. JJ McCarthy's sitting there waiting to be crap when he's crap.
Breederson.
Jones
can catch some passes,
and a defense who's not really going to keep you off the field for that long.
Are we out on JJ McCarthy? Is he done?
Let me put it another way.
Mark, I was expecting you to be turning around because JJ McCarthy is Will Howard.
He's not, but
ladies and gentlemen, tonight JJ McCarthy is Will Howard.
I actually didn't hate JJ coming out of college as well. Like I wasn't as high as Cy was, but I didn't hate him. He's just
we just sit on opposite sides of the room. We don't.
It doesn't make sense to me. If you love Will Howard so much, Will Howard's
it's not the same.
What's the difference?
No, it's what McCarthy's done in the NFL.
Yeah, but okay, but where are we with Will Howard?
Forget that for a second.
He's not done anything yet.
Forget that for a second.
Forgotten.
Super Bowl, Carson Wentz, can he win it with this wide receiver crew?
Well, they've got to get there first.
They've got to get there. But on their day, with that wide receiver core, if the defense plays up
let's not
under
get carried
a
away.
Brian Flores scheme.
Look, the wide receiver core is great, but the wide receiver core, I know John Jennings is new, but like it was more or less there. Those 2 guys were there last year and they couldn't catch a damn ball because they couldn't get the ball to them.
Okay, but if you get the ball, if you have league average quarterback play,
that's the question.
With a Flores defense with this wide receiver core,
TJ Hawkinson, we not mentioned him. He can block, he can catch. He's a good tight end, solid.
Good, but
and we don't know what the Steelers team is yet either. That's the other question.
We discovered. You know what we're discovering about the NFC North? We just don't know what these 4 teams are going to be.
No,
but
apart from the Bears,
I feel
maybe.
Like I'm almost certain I thought this was the most easy one of the.
I did as well, Mark. But so, Mark, let me talk to you alone because I think I was exactly the same as you coming into this. Have you not been convinced a little bit by looking at both the defense, which is far better than I was thinking it was in my head as a unit last year, and by the offensive pieces other than the quarterback?
I haven't. I know that wide receiver trio is great, understandably. There are pieces of the line I do like. Hawkinson's okay. The quarterback room is so unsteady. The running back room isn't great, in my opinion. And other than Dallas Turner and maybe a little bit of Van Ginkel, I'm not convinced by what the rest of this defense is bringing to the table.
I'll have a bit of Van Ginkel.
I must admit,
absolutely fine.
They're starting James Pierre. How do we feel about that? He's starting.
That is a risk.
I mean, we were talking a minute ago that we were condemning the Lions for not having any corners, and now I don't know.
Then he drops, and you got Charles Demings, Dwight McGlovern.
Yeah, but it says to me that Flores thinks that Pierre is going to be his lockdown jam guy, which I think Pierre was slightly underused. He could have been out there every down as just go out there and jam the number 2. Just don't let the number 2 do anything, and then we'll zone the other guy.
Didn't the Vikings get Didn't they get Gerald Alexander from us? Isn't he gone over to the Vikings, and that's why Pierre's? Am I right in saying that? I'm sure he.
Perhaps.
Our old secondary coach.
I'll look it up.
Yeah,
wait 1 second.
I think you're right about that. I think I vaguely remember reading that or something.
Somebody went over to the Vikings, and I'm pretty sure it was Gerald Alexander.
I just, God, this division is tough. I didn't see this coming.
Mark, you are yet again incorrect. No, correct. Defensive pass game coordinator and defensive backs coach. Sorry, I was just winding up.
Thank you.
Yes, you're right.
What a story, Mark.
Also, just a less fun financial note. They had a load of cap issues, but they've actually managed to create some cap. They've got 13.1 million in cap space now. They were at a time where I think they were minus I can't remember what the number was. It was, I think, 43 million or something cap deficit. But they've managed to sort that out. So,
well, you can go get a decent running back now. Come on,
love that. Less fun financial corner with Ketts, our insurance.
Well, you demand dry football chat. I've given you dry.
Hey, did I not say I loved it? I loved it, Ketts. Less fun. I want less fun on this podcast.
So am I on an island
now? No,
like...
I don't. I'm still with you. That's the problem. Is that it's just not common wisdom, and I'm struggling with like really planting a flag in, as it seems Ketts and Gav have done here, to say like, yes, the Vikings. And the reason I'm surprised is that Gav and Ketts have been overrating the Steelers all over the show. That's what I've been disagreeing with them about. And then all of a sudden, the Vikings are better than the Steelers. That's why I'm so shocked. It's like I'm being thrown all over the place here, back. I don't know what to think.
We're just seeing things differently.
Maybe the entire answer to this entire NFC podcast when we get to the end of it is, I don't know.
I don't know.
The NFC was just the friends we made along the way.
All right, I'm prepared to move on this and say the Vikings are not as good as the Steelers.
I don't think you are. It doesn't sound like you are.
Well,
I think you're more convinced of that than the Lions.
Yeah,
it's close. It's also close, but I think for the,
I think it's close at all.
Oh. Okay.
I've got the Vikings as the 12th ranked NFC team, by the way.
Wow.
Okay. Right, I'm going to put the Steelers win. I'm going to move across the aisle just for the sake of expediency. I actually think I was firmer about the Lions than I am about the Vikings.
Well, do we want to make a kind of a cross team consideration here? Because we've got a lot of splits already so far out of these three teams. You know, is there a world where we want to say, okay, we're going to agree that the Minnesota are below, but we're going to say, okay, well, maybe the Steelers are better than the Lions? But then I don't think that's right. That seems crazy.
Look, so we're going to come out of this with the Steelers being better than one team. So ultimately, it'll shake out. I guess the
Packers. I think the Packers would be the team.
It'll shake
out of the four.
So we'll go one. Steelers is third in this division, should we say? Third or fourth.
Okay. Would you agree with that, Mark, out of all the 4 teams, if you had to choose one?
What, the one?
Well, you'd choose Minnesota, wouldn't you? But if
one worse than us is Minnesota, yeah.
But if you were to choose one, what am I trying to say? We've already agreed that we're going to put Minnesota below. So if you were to choose one out of Detroit and Green Bay,
to be below or above?
To be better than, because that's what Ketts and
if there's only one, I would choose Detroit, and that's exactly what
really?
I've done. So yeah.
All right, I think it's fine. Let's just say one team. The Steelers are the second best team in this division, and we'll move on.
No, they aren't.
No, sorry, second worst. Second worst. Sorry, apologies. 3 teams are better. We're not sure which one it is because that's where we've landed. Okay. Right? Just otherwise, we're going to be here all night. It's going to be a 15-hour show.
Well, no, I was going to say to you, do you want to? Because I don't want to rush this. We could always do 2 of the divisions and come back and do a part 2.
Hey, that's not a bad idea. All right. Okay.
We were already saying we didn't know what to do next week. We're having fun talking about the team. I don't want to rush it.
Fine. All right. Yeah, I'm down with that. We could do.
Let's leisurely select another division to go through the 4 teams and not stress.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that takes the pressure off. All right. Fine. What's our runtime?
Feels calmer already. About an hour 45. So we'd be about 2.5 hours if we do one more.
Fine. Let's do it. Okay, that's a good plan.
You want to do the NFC North East? Do you want to do East? Then we'll do Southwest next week?
Sure. Let's hit the East.
All right.
So that's
Who's up first?
That's me. Yeah. Me. I'm going to take us to New Jersey / New York.
New Jersey, where currently Ecuador are beating Germany, by the way, in that stadium.
German backups are playing, apparently, I think. Is that true?
Through? Maybe
they're already through. Yeah.
Ah, right. Okay. They won't win the. I don't know. Anyway, New York Giants.
Okay, so the New York Giants, the New York Football Giants, the G-Men, Big Blue. They were
really dragging it out now.
Big tuna. Well, we got time. Phil Simms, Lawrence Taylor,
the helmet catch. Yeah. Eli Manning.
What was his damn name? Helmet catch man. David Tyree. Yes, got it. Yeah. We got there. 4-13 last year. Forget it.
I forgot how many wide receivers they signed. Sorry.
Yeah, forget it. Forget the 4-13 Giants. Forget your dad's Giants. Forget your older brother's Giants. This is a new deal here. This is a whole new outfit. Way more organized. Way more dangerous. Man, you look at the staff. Look at the stuff that he's brought in. We're talking about John Harbaugh, of course, the old enemy. It's a guy whose face is ingrained in my 14-year-old daughter's psyche from how much time we've had looking at that guy and hoping that he's a loser and he ends up sometimes winning, sometimes losing. But all right, so forget him. Matt Nagy at OC. All right, the head coach career was bad, but pretty good a coordinator. Brian Callahan as quarterback / pass game coordinator. Greg Roman as senior offensive assistant. The brain trust they brought into this outfit is terrifying. And I am slightly concerned here that the Giants are better than the Steelers. It seems like sacrilegious to say it because it's been a joke franchise for a long time. But I am very concerned that they're at least level. Okay, so there is churn, and they're coming back. This isn't a returning team. This is a new team, new outfit, but it's a good team. They replaced Dexter Lawrence on the defense with a gang of dudes: DJ Reader, Shelby Harris, Lecky Fotu, Sam Roberts, Zach Pickens. That's the big loss. And can you ever really replace one Pro Bowler with a gang of Jags? I'm not sure. But the rest of the outfit, I guess it depends on Scatterboo. Have we got any time for his return? But
he seems to be somewhat making his way back, I think I've seen.
But
you never know with him, do you?
No, and he's obviously a plus running back that brings the heat. But behind him, Tyrone Tracy's no slouch, and Devin Singletary, the most boring running back in the NFL. Him or David Montgomery are up in that competition. I think Singletary edges it, but he's still a professional running back that can do some damage. They brought in some Ravens alumni in Isaiah Likely and Patrick Ricard. They brought in Calvin Austin, who's going to bring some knowledge of the playbooks that the Steelers have. Malik Neighbors, I guess, is another question. How good when's he going to be good to go? But he's potentially top 5 receiver in the league. How he came into the league. The line, I love this line. I think Moaga, that first round pick at right guard, I think he's going to be special. But John Michael Schmitz I liked. Andrew Thomas has gone on. John Runyon's been solid. The right tackle position, Jermaine Illuminor's up for grabs. But this is a line that's totally turned it around. I guess the question's Jackson Dart, but I was out on him in the draft, but he's proved me wrong. I thought he's shown some things, and then the defense, Abdul Carter, Brian Burns. That's a terrifying starting two, and then who knows if Kayvon Thibodeau's still going to be there? But he's coming on. I love the secondary. Greg Newsome, Paulson Adebo, fantastic corners. Drew Phillips in the nickel. Javon Hollins and Tyler Newbern at safety. Deontay Banks, one of my guys. Darius Washington, this is a good team. Shelby Harris, they brought in DJ Reader, as I mentioned. So Arvell Reese, their first round pick, he's going to be a real weapon. It's sort of similar to Abdul Carter in a lot of ways. This physical freak, positionless player. They can do some things. I think with the brain trust they've got in their offense, defense. I'm scared about this. Am I wrong here? Am I overrating them?
I don't think you're wrong. I think you might be 1 year early. I think This is all new and still needs to gel. And Abdul Carter didn't have the greatest of years last year. Obviously, he has the talent to turn that around, but worry about that. There's so many new pieces, both on and off the field. Very nice, certainly. But yeah, I'm not. I'm going to revert back to what I said last week quite a lot of times. But I think that's very much what I would say for the Giants is I'll believe it when I see it. And I get the nice pieces in there. If Malik Neighbors does come back and be what he was in his rookie year and what we saw in college, then he's going to be fantastic, certainly.
That's true, because they've got...
I really like Jackson Dart as well. But yeah.
So we'll come on to Dart, I'm sure. Sorry to interrupt, but Neighbors, if he comes back, he's a true number one. And then they have got a gang of functional threes. Read this.
They got a gaggle of nothing.
No, excuse me. Darius Slayton, Calvin Austin, Malachi Fields the rookie, Darnell Mooney, Juju Smith-Schuster, Odell Beckham, Isaiah Hodgins, Braxton Berrios, Jalen Hyatt, Xavier Gibson
down there.
This
is literally the unemployment line.
No. I said they're all threes. I didn't say they're wide receiver twos, but a gang of threes. All you need is for one or two of those to come good, and you've got a dangerous offense there. I think that's what they've done. They've just thrown it at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting
Mark,
to see who does stick there.
You know how you've got the Raiders as your team of all of your guys?
Is this your
I
team
feel
of
like
your guys?
the Giants have done this for me. Like some of these guys, obviously Juju, what to say about that guy. But yeah, Cam Scatterboo, I just really like the potential of where this team could go in a really interesting division. I think they've been quite aggressive in terms of some of their weaknesses through the draft and free agency. I really like this team is just upside. It's just fun. And I can't wait to see, what transpires with this team over the next couple of years. I agree with you in terms of I think the Steelers are still better today.
Thank God.
But God, this team over the next couple of years, especially if the Cowboys don't do much and if the Eagles start to decline, God knows where this Giants team could go. They've got some really, really fun pieces. It'd be a fascinating story.
Indeed. No, notwithstanding that they've got Jameis as their backup as well.
Right.
Yo,
Finally, someone brought this up.
Smith here. Shout out to UK Steelers podcast. I'll say thanks for all the love, all the support. Steeler Nation out here and in UK. Let's get it, baby. Steeler Nation, Steeler gang.
Shout out, Juju.
Juju. We love you.
It's you. Yeah, we should have come back to the Steelers. Rest in peace.
He's not dead.
Now, look, someone needs to slap a reality check into someone in this podcast. Luckily, Ketts has kept the Giants below the Steelers. It sounds like, so we're not going to have to deal with the same thing we did in the last division.
So have I.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. So we're not going. Only Gav has gone off the deep end. But we're at the point where we're ranking a team that literally has their mascot as the backup quarterback higher than the Steelers.
Who's the Steelers' backup quarterback? Lol.
Our mascot might be a starter.
Yeah, at least the Giants know who their backup is.
I totally agree what you're saying, though. Like, if the Steelers sort out the quarterback situation, fine. But yeah, I think the story of what this Giants team could be is fun.
I think I like the optimism. I have the glass half empty view of the Giants right now. I really do. I'm looking at it and I think Malik Neighbors it sounds bad. It sounds like he's not going to come back and be the same this season. And what was Malik Neighbors so good at? He was like, he didn't move like anyone else in the league. He was so athletic, so agile, he stop on a dime. Just so let's see how that goes. I'm concerned. Behind him, you got no one. Gav can list as many. Jackson, it sounds like a Key and Peele sketch. Jackson McFingleberry. What are we talking about?
You've not got no one. You've got everyone.
We've got like Odell Beckham, who hasn't made a play in about 8 years. We got Calvin Austin, who's starting in the slot, apparently. We love Juju, but let's be honest. What are we talking about? There's no weapons. The line, Gav's talking about how great the line is. Let's calm down.
You know, you say if you've got 4 quarterbacks, you've got no quarterbacks. You've got 12 wide receivers. You've got no wide receivers.
Now, I'll give you that they look good on the D-line. Obviously, there's elements, but outside of the headlines on the D-line, I'm not super impressed. I do like some of the
sexy Dexy anymore as well. That's a big
Greg
loss.
Newsome is a good pickup. But as you said, not a lot of time for these guys to gel in. It's going to be a lot of new faces on this defense under what is, let's be honest, the untalented Harbaugh brother and Matt Nagy at OC. Ugh. Plus, if you wanted any more proof, the bad luck charm himself is sitting there at IR, Gunnar Olszewski.
That's a needle swinger at the end there. I think you're right. But put it this way. My thoughts on the Giants are they will have some of the best highlights in the league this year.
They always do. Yeah, sure.
They won't finish more than 6 wins.
And this comes back to the main point, which is Jackson Dart, right? Which is, I forgot to even mention, but that's the main element of this, which is that I don't trust Jackson Dart. I think he's talented. I think he's a lot of fun to watch. I think he's going to have some crazy moments. He's going to have some fun games. He also lost basically every game he played last year. So I don't think he knows how to win yet. I don't think anyone's taught. Maybe sitting down with a guy like Harbaugh and getting a full off season with him will change that. And we'll see what Jackson Dart looks like early in the season. But right now, I just, obviously everyone's talking about Jackson Dart just going in head first. He doesn't protect himself. And I think that is just emblematic of the kind of player he was last season. And we'll see if he's grown. But until I see it, we've got Jameis Winston and a guy who doesn't know how to protect himself in front of a team of schlubs. I don't know what we're talking about. This is better than Steelers.
In limited starts, how many games did he play last year? Hang on, I thought I had that. No, I don't have that. Damn, I thought I had that.
Let me look.
Who was better in their first season in limited starts? Who looked more accomplished? Who looks more comfortable? Who had more of an impact? Who looked like was going to make their team win more than lose? Jackson Dart or Caleb Williams in their first season?
That's exactly. I was literally going to say this feels like a Caleb Williams I don't see it though.
Dart doesn't have the same level of, and I was down on Caleb Williams, as I said, but Caleb Williams always felt like he had more sustainable electricity to him. If I turn this into an electricity analogy somehow, Jackson Dart feels like a dart of lightning, right? Weirdly, I didn't even mean that. Is that a thing? A dart of lightning? I don't know. Anyway, he feels like a lightning shot, right? Like he's going to come in and make it, but you can't make it just happen. It's going to happen, and he's not consistent in any way. I don't believe that he's going to become that.
He won 4, lost 8. Yeah, won 4 games, lost 8 games in 14 starts. 12 starts, 14 games. So you could say he lost more than he won. Well, twice as many.
Well, to be honest, 4 wins is more than I even thought he had. I honestly thought he'd won like 1 game that he started in.
How many games did Scatterboo miss? I feel like it was most of the season, wasn't it?
I mean, he was really on fire
so
early
explosive when he started.
Yeah, because it was a lot of fun for those like 2 or 3 weeks, I remember, right? With those two guys.
Yeah.
And then Scatterboo, God rest his soul.
The little head bonkle.
Again, not dead.
Went down. And yeah, it did. But that's worrisome to me as well, is this team just running on vibes? I mean, 1 minute it felt like it was a roller coaster last year, right? Like the team was flying through the sky for 1 minute and then Scatterboo gets injured and all of a sudden just because you're like, your 3rd round rookie running back got injured, the team collapses. It was like, what is going on here?
4th round, but I think he's elite.
8 games, 5 starts, 110.
Listen, nobody said they were coming here for accurate information.
410 yards.
Sorry, but I will die on the Scatterboo is a god hill because I love that guy.
Don't forget the ultimate good news, bad news for them. The good news, they got rid of Evan Neal, which they desperately needed to do. The bad news is, why did Harbaugh think that they would bring Daniel Falele over? What are you doing?
But wait, you didn't even finish you didn't hit your own punchline.
I'm not going to just say they suck.
No, they got rid of Evan Neal and then they signed Evan Neal.
Oh, God, I forgot. Yeah.
They cut Evan Neal and then they signed Evan Neal.
What the
That's what I thought you were going to say.
I had completely forgotten about that. I thought he was gone. God, he's so low down. I mean, he's done, isn't he? But why would you bring Daniel Falele over as well? Like, that is such a bad move from Harbaugh.
Evan Neal, for the record, is now 3rd right guard, apparently, according to our lads.
Exactly. Like, man, what a fall off. But look, listen, like Gav, I totally get why you would be scared of this team, potentially, but I don't think they're there just yet.
I agree with you. I think it's early. Maybe I've gone a year early, but it's more from a coaching point of view. I just think that drags them up. I'm just scared of them. And then I hadn't really looked at the staff. The staff scares me. But okay, so again,
sorry, the recording thing's cut out. Matt, sorry. We got that error again that popped up. Live audience,
hydration break.
Bear with us. Hydro break. 2 seconds.
Okay,
this will just take 2 seconds. You carry on your point if you want.
It's okay. I was just saying that this is yet again another team that I had a dash. I'm not sure who's better. I'm prepared to go with Steelers are better.
You really think that there's an argument the Giants are better than the Steelers?
I think they're going to be a dark horse team.
Wow.
This year.
Are they your new Giants?
I guess. Are you really in on Dart then?
I'm not in on Dart, but I think he made an impact. But it's about the injury.
Right.
Yeah. But I was impressed with Dart. He shocked me in a big way. And yes, perhaps the win-loss record doesn't tell the story. I just thought he looked.
Hey, he was a rookie quarterback though. So I mean, let's not. We'll come back and talk about this. Hang on, let's go into a new room. Sorry, live audience, bear with.
So we have to reboot our recording system.
Processing. Oh, it's just the transcript. That's fine. We don't care about that.
This is fun. Pull behind the curtains for the. So to reboot our webpage. Here it comes. This is embarrassing because now the live stream can only hear me and it takes ages. Oh, here we are. So I join. Oh, no, I can't. Here we go. Join. And then we should be able to hear everyone in 3, 2, 1. There we are. There we are.
I've realised that I'm talking to no one because it's only recording your audio, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm the captain of the ship on the YouTube empty wheelhouse there. It's like the
I've
Mary
been talking
Celeste.
to the audience like anyone can hear me.
No.
Right. Okay, ready to go. Hitting record.
So this gold you don't get on the podcast. You only get this on the YouTube.
You just jump back in from a whoosh wherever you'd like, Gav.
Well, I kind of ran out of steam. I don't know where we were. Right, so I'll say, so I had the Giants kind of level pegging, but I'm perfectly prepared to go with Steelers are better because they're a more settled team franchise with year 2 of Aaron Rodgers, and well, I guess it's year 1 of Mike McCarthy, so they're not that settled, but the roster feels more settled. So I'm prepared to go with Steelers if that's what everyone else is saying.
All right. Well, I like that we at least got the full range of views on that team. You know,
Yeah,
I'm really down. You're really up.
I don't think I'm prepared to let a 4-team win from 2025 immediately go shot up. You know, it happens.
There's one team every year. I think it's going to be the Giants this year. That's what I'm saying.
But
I'm always 1 year ahead. I was the year ahead on the Jags.
Is it that it's a New York year, like the Knicks won, and now the Giants are going to pick up that energy?
Well, yeah, it's not going to be the Jets, is it? So it's got to be
right. No, the Jets aren't even involved.
But they're New Jersey.
Okay.
If it's a New York year, that's the Bills.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Next team.
It's marked down in the column, so let's move on.
So it's me next, isn't it?
Me.
Yep.
Yes, go on. Go ahead.
Me. Why don't we talk about another team that I think are pretty close to the Steelers on paper? Let's talk about the Cowboys. A lot of returning starters on that wide receiver core. Sorry, not on the offense as a whole. George Pickens, is he already? What's the story there? That seems a little bit weird with what's going on with him and
franchise tag, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly. So
for context, he's not showing up to like the voluntary stuff, but he doesn't have to. But he's not signed his. He has signed his franchise tag, right? But there's a bit of consternation as to whether he'll actually show up and play.
And we know what he can be like, so you have to kind of keep an eye on that. But I mean, yeah, it's a mostly returning offense that have a lot of nice pieces. Pickens, Lamb, really nice line for the most part. Jake Ferguson, I think, is pretty good. I am a notorious Dak hater, but I'm not going to be the guy of like, oh, he's never going to do whatever. No, I can admit that when it comes to the regular season, he does show up and can play well. It's just anything after that that is the problem. The running back room is probably where I'm a bit like, I like Javonte Williams, but Williams, Jaden Blue, Malik Davis, it doesn't really massively stand out to me. But then you look at the defense, and a few new moves on there. Kobe Durant in there now in the secondary. Rashawn Gary's gone over there. D Winters, Ogbonnia on the front as well. Add to that, add into people who've returning like Quinn and Williams. I really like Donovan Ezaraku as a young player in there. And then they drafted Caleb Downs, which I think is a really, really shrewd move and could be a huge boost even early on. I think I said that Caleb Downs would be the player that would probably make the biggest impact early on and is probably going to be maybe my defensive rookie of the year candidate, although where he plays I think will be a big part of that. But I just think overall this Cowboys team is really, really good on paper. It's just it never seems to really the Jerry Jones always seems to bring in some drama, and I think Schottenheimer's so. It's very difficult to place where the Cowboys will end up. It feels like a team that should be in the 12 to 13 win range, but never quite gets there. And that's why they're kind of in and around where I have the Steelers when I kind of rank everything in here. But as opposed to the Packers, I do have the Cowboys slightly better than the Steelers on paper. I think it's just a bit more of a solid setup with some really nice pieces. Obviously, some holes here and there, particularly as I say in that running back room. But as a whole, this Cowboys team is one that should be pushing for the playoffs, and has the ability to go further, but just time will tell if that actually happens. But is anybody particularly down on the Cowboys?
I think that's interesting that you've gone so solidly that the Cowboys are better. What was the problem?
I'm not solidly. It's very neck and neck, but yeah.
I mean, what was the problem?
I agree, but the problem is pretty damn clear to me, and that's the defense.
Right. Thank you. Exactly. And has the offense improved or got better?
Very similar.
I'd say it's arguably worse. Who's
Pickens?
Well, definitely. If Pickens didn't play this, they're finished. Who's the Ryan Flornay in the slot? And they've got Turpin, who's kind of more.
Flornay was kind of good. I mean, I'm not gonna I'm not like saying he's like a game changer, but just as a side note, Flornay was pretty good for them when he had to come in.
I mean, the fact Pickens is there saved them. But without Pickens, I'd be concerned about this receiver core. Marquez Valdez-Scantling's there. The offense is good. Like, it's all returning, and that was the strength of this team. Good line. Classically had a great line. But I'd argue that the offense hasn't improved. Let's say that. So it's stayed the same. The defense
hasn't improved because they've spent all of their draft picks and all of their kind of trade capital on the defense because they had to. Yeah. Because it cost them so many games last year.
Right. It's a rebuild. They've got they move into a 3-4 hybrid. Christian Parker, first time DC. Last year was historically bad, right? 377 yards and 30.1 points per game. I mean, it's just shocking. But they've brought in quite a few players. Rashan Gary, D. Winters, Jalen Thompson, Kobe Durant, Tito Ogbonia. Are they enough? I really like Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark as an interior pairing. I think that's good. But
let's not sleep on Caleb Downs.
I hadn't got to that yet.
Sorry.
But have they done enough? Have they brought in enough quality? I think Rashan Gary, yes. But the rest are kind of... Kobe Durant, is he... I mean, you're a Rams guy,
Durant.
right? Yeah.
Like Durant, yeah.
Yeah, but are they just Jags they've brought in? Or Jags slightly above Jags? Now, obviously, yeah, all right. Caleb Downs is going to be potentially one of the best defensive backs in the league. Really cerebral player. I think, but he's a rookie, so you can't put everything on him. So yes, he's a splash move. I'm just not sure how much better this defense is, especially in a changing scheme where, as I said earlier, communication and instinct goes out the window, and players are trying to remember what their duties are. I'm just not sure this is better. I think they're close. Again, we're close, but I'm going to say the Steelers are better.
The best roster the Cowboys have at the moment is the cheerleaders.
Well, that's always
simple
the case.
As that. Like, this team is just not ready to.
Cowboys cheerleaders versus Steelers cheerleaders. It's no contest.
Well, yeah,
Steelers don't have any cheerleaders.
Thank you. That was the implied joke. You don't have to
No, we want to shoot you down for that one. Don't be silly.
Dry football talk.
No contest. That was the joke, man. Come on. Anyway, all right, move on.
Exactly. But yeah, I don't think it's... I think it's close, but the more I look at the defense, the more it scares me on the Cowboys. I think the Steelers are way ahead. I had them as kind of next to each other on the initial ranking that I did, but the more I look at this defense and think about it and contextualize it, the more I think that the Steelers are going to be on an upwards trajectory. The Cowboys, God only knows where they could end up, but obviously that's fine because God's watching, because Jerry World's window is open at the top so that God can watch the Cowboys. But yeah, I don't think the Super Bowl Cowboys drought is going to end anytime soon.
No, I don't. But I think the problem with me is I think there's a lot of pieces that I like that they've brought in here and still have. I mean, I do like Rashan Gary. I was a big fan of DeMarvion Overshawn. I was a massive fan of Donovan Ezeraku. Really like Deron Bland as well. I think there's just a lot of kind of me people that are on this defense that I think could still do a job. That's why I probably rate them a little bit better. Yes, it was historically bad, as you say, last year, Gav. I do think they've improved, but again, we need to see it, don't we? It's on paper, I think, it's improved, but it's a whole different thing when it gets out onto the field. So, but I just think on the strength of their offense as well, and what they can provide there, that's why I've probably I can definitely be swayed, because I do have, for full context, one place above the Steelers. I have the Cowboys, so I can be swayed, but I feel it's that close, and I just think they edge it with the offense.
I tell you, a guy that I didn't mention in my intro there was Deshaun Barham, who I was really gunning for the Steelers to take. Obviously, he's listed on the depth chart here as will linebacker. But
Deshaun Barham,
that is a guy that could be a sort of chess piece, move around, edge rushing, linebacking. It's kind of like a Parsons, but more physical. Now, I think he's got a little bit more acclamation to make. Only a sort of 1 year wonder at Michigan, but I think this guy's got a bright future. I really think he's going to add a physicality and a multipleness, versatility, Joker kind of role. I'm expecting big things out of him.
And I like Malachi Lawrence just next to him there as well, who they picked up as outside linebacker. I think that's a really nice pickup from them as well. So, these rookie pieces could well come on, but they will need to come on quite early. But
yeah, they're going to need to, because if you put it in context, Dak had one of the statistically best seasons of his career, and they finished 7-9-1.
Mm.
So
I say hatred, but my disliking for Dak has dropped over the last couple of years. I used to really not like Dak. I thought he was massively overrated, but I'm starting to kind of see why they still keep him on and what he can deliver.
Dak older than Jared Goff.
Yeah, that's mad. Yeah.
What do you think of Dak, Si? Are you a Dak fan?
Very similar to Mark. I was quite not critical, but didn't fully buy into the hype. I thought he was obviously a great pickup for a third rounder, but was like, is he ever going to win a Super Bowl? Is he that kind of quarterback? But I must say, the way that he's grown into the back nine of his career, and I would say elevated the offenses he's been with when he's been healthy, as opposed to, and some of the statistical seasons he's put up have been incredible as well. So I agree. I'm with Mark. I've grown into appreciating Dak Prescott for what he's been. I think the question is still open as to whether he is a guy that can win him a Super Bowl, but
that's the problem, isn't it? Yeah, playoff Dak is a totally different prospect.
And I think that goes into a lot of what the problem with the Cowboys is, and why I think it makes this actually quite a complicated question. And unfortunately, I was going to come in once again on Mark's side here, because while I agree that the Cowboys maybe aren't even set up very well to be competitive in the playoffs or win a Super Bowl, kind of like the Steelers, frankly, I do think organizationally and the way they're set up to just be this entertainment product, right? They are set up to be consistently competitive and to win somewhere between 6 and 10 games pretty clearly. They're not going to, I don't think they're going to be very poor. I don't think they're going to dominate. I do think they're going to be competitive and have some really exciting games on offense with these exciting receivers that they have. And I think they're going to have some games where they're going to be frustrated by good defenses and struggle to move the ball, and the defense isn't going to be able to hold up. And they're going to get blown out, and they're going to have games where they look really poor against good opposition. So I think it is a difficult team to rate in that sense, because I don't know, is it specifically against the Steelers, or is it, I think it's more overall, right? How good they are as a team. And in that sense, I think it's kind of close, but it's is it to win the Super Bowl or just the record? That's where it gets complicated.
I hate to draw comparisons.
Yeah.
But you look at some of the draft picks they've made over the last few years. Now, just to put it in context, Jake Ferguson and Dak Prescott, two of their best players, were 4th-round picks.
Mm-hmm.
Are they suffering the same issue as the Steelers are in terms of ownership is happy for them to be, as you say, competitive-ish, but not really competitive?
CeeDee Lamb, 1st-round pick. Tyler Smith, 1st-round pick. They're good. Caleb Downs, we're assuming.
No, the picks are good. No, it's not that the picks aren't great. I don't know. What point were you making, Ketts?
Just saying, in terms of the ownership, are they willing to be kind of, we win more seasons than we lose, therefore we're a successful franchise, that's it?
This is what I mean. I feel like Jerry Jones, I've come to learn about Jerry Jones over the years, because I used to just think he was just a wackadoodle old crazy guy, and everything he did didn't make any sense. And I kind of still feel like that, but there's some logic to it, like twisted, bizarre logic to it, it's true what he says. There's a very low percentage of this that is smiles and glory holes. Most of it is
That's an episode title.
so most of it is just what's going on in Jerry Jones's head, and every now and again, it's like just an utter masterpiece, and it doesn't make any sense as to why, because it seems like he's a complete numbskull, but there's something going on there where I don't know if it's just experience. Maybe it is. I mean, he's an old guy. I've learned that experience is probably more valuable than I realized when I was a kid.
I think we've all had a Jerry Jones moment where we've realized we were wrong about him. Mine was the draft pick of Travis Frederick. I was like, this is a joke. Why this guy's drafted a 4th round center in the dude turned out to be the best center in the league.
But how often is it? This is what I don't understand about Jerry Jones. How often is it genius, and how often is it him just kind of like Ketts says, wanting to be the story, wanting to make the splash, wanting to be the center of attention, and it just kind of falling because he does that. He by nature makes the kind of big decision, the splashy choice, and it creates a situation where things look like exciting and fun and good, but they're not actually really very sustainable in the long term.
I don't know. Do if you can pick a lineman out of nowhere and everyone's laughing at you, and then he turns out to be one of the better linemen,
okay,
then that means football. That's like picking Brock Purdy out of a field of nobodies and him turning out to be the starting franchise quarterback of the 49ers. And
I'm not saying he doesn't, but he takes that guy, right, and then he turns around and he can draft the best pass rusher that we've seen in the last 5 years out of the draft, but then because he's such an eclectic person and he's so all over the place, he has to trade him away to Green Bay.
So management's the issue, but in terms of talent and
but I'm not really. That's what I mean. I'm not really questioning his bone. I just think he does things his way. He's he's one of these old, a bit like Jim Irsay probably was, right? But in
the
an
Rooney's
even more hands-on way. Well, yeah, but the Rooney's are so small C conservative, right?
Different end of the spectrum, but still, forcing things their way, the way they see football.
Don't get me,
in a philosophy standpoint, yeah.
The last 10 years, just judging their first-round picks, Zeke, Taco Charlton, Van Der Esch, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, Tyler Smith, Mazzie Smith, Tyler Guyton, Tyler Booker, Caleb Downs, Malachi Lawrence. You think, looking at those first-round picks, that's a team that probably should have won a Super Bowl.
But some of those names are so the flashy name, and sometimes it works and sometimes it burns out.
Yeah,
it does. He wanted to draft Manziel.
Here's a question.
That's just who he is.
Here's a question. Better career at this point, right now. Dak Prescott, Andrew Luck.
I think you've got to say Dak Prescott for the longevity at this point.
Yeah, that's the tough part.
I think unfortunately Andrew Luck's forgone at this point. The kind of he's getting a freebie for having retired. I mean, he chose to retire and that's his decision, but he doesn't get to also be the greatest quarterback of all time.
But I feel he was
a great quarterback, but
their careers are somewhat similar, or at least their sort of cycle of the season. He's injured. We're coming back into the season. He's throwing again. We're hyped up. This is the year. This is the year. He's back.
This is the year where in week 12 he'll get injured, right?
And then we rinse and repeat, right? It's like, he's injured. Is he? Will he? Won't he? Will he retire? I feel like they're very similar. If Luck was still playing, I feel like they'd be very, very similar. And Luck was a first-round pick, generational quarterback. Prescott, 4th-round pick, come out of nowhere. So I give it to Prescott.
Yeah, I think I agree. Yeah, because he's done it, right? I mean, at the end of the day, he's done it. I mean, he's not done it, but he's done it.
If you can get a 4th-round pick that does it approximately, that's a franchise improving.
Yeah, I didn't mean to bring. Sorry, I put the final point on making this about the pick. I didn't mean to make it about the pick. I meant about the player and their sort of career. What do you think, Ketts? Who would you take if you're going back? Who would you rather have, Prescott or Luck from their sort of rookie season?
I think the fact you've picked Prescott in the 4th is franchise changing, and you build the team around that. If you've got a 4th-round pick that overachieves and becomes a franchise quarterback, that gives you such an advantage.
It's kind of similar, right? And in the they're great in the regular season, they get into the playoffs and they absolutely fold.
Sometimes you need that little bit of luck in the playoffs as well, though, don't you? That's a different
all right.
a thing. But Yeah, I think the playoffs is massively a team effort. It's your offense gets found out, your defense gets found out, and if one or the other isn't up to scratch, then as the Steelers have found out over the last however many years I've been watching them, if you don't have both elements up to that level, then you don't last very long.
Okay, where are we? Show of hands. Who's better here?
Steelers.
I'm going to say Cowboys, but I will be absolutely happy if you want to go for the Steelers.
Okay, one each. Si?
I feel similarly to Mark. So I also would, if it's a tie, I don't mind saying.
Oh man, I had Dash as well, so I feel the same. So it's another level team. So we need some people to grow some balls here.
Let's say Steelers then, because it seems like Ketts has got some oomph behind it. Me and Mark are a bit like they're a little bit better, but they're a bit variable.
Yeah,
I'm happy to say that.
And I'd say Steelers' defense is better than Cowboys' defense. Clearly, how much better is their offense than the Steelers' offense?
I think it is a fair.
I do.
On paper, it's fair.
I mean, it's better, but how much better? Is it?
Well,
is the gap the same?
Here's why I think we're struggling with this exercise a little bit this year, especially in the NFC, is that we don't really know what the Steelers' offense is going to look like. We're still imagining this Steelers past, I think, and maybe this is what. Maybe Gav, this is the problem: is that you're already seeing the future. You're seeing the future of the Steelers' offense that we can't see. But I think me and Mark are still like looking at it and being like, these are the same guys that just put up like 20 yards every game.
Yeah, this is going to be a completely different offense. Completely different. Yeah. But let's talk about candlesticks. We talked about it last week, right? I think the candlestick between the Steelers defense, potentially, if they play to what they're getting paid and where they should be, one of the better defenses in the league. Cowboys off defense probably down at the bottom still. So big candlestick. Offensively, I'd say smaller candlestick. Right? So that tells me Steelers are better than Cowboys.
Is this the candlestick graph thing?
Yeah, candlestick graph. Yeah.
Oh, cool. We brought it back.
What
else was it called? A whisker? Someone else said it was called a whisker.
Box and whisker.
Box and whisker.
Is the other alternative.
Yeah. Shout out to the graph boys.
Hang on. Let me just put this on the stream here, just so we know what we're talking about. Candlestick graph. Mm-hmm. But is that a fair?
Yeah, I think that is a fair representation of it, and I agree. I think that's why. Yeah, that's why I don't mind saying Steelers. I think there's.
I think the Cowboys' floor is lower and the Steelers' ceiling is higher.
I don't even know if the floor is lower so much as it's just I'm looking at it and I'm like, Dak Prescott and the two receivers are a big plus.
Yeah, George Pickens, my red star that I told you all was great, and you all said no, Ketts, you're wrong.
No, hang on a minute. I don't think we were like, oh, he's terrible as a wide receiver. I think we were like, oh, the dude's a bit.
He is a bit. But
actually, I think it may have turned out that he was a bit.
He was a bit, but he's a superstar, that kid.
Okay, so we agree. Steelers better?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, we're halfway there. Right, who's next on the...
God, this is tough.
Oh, living on a prayer. Ketts, you're up.
Do you know what? This is a really fun discussion. Let's go for maybe the easier one of the two. And that is the opposite side of Pennsylvania. That is the Philadelphia
shouting at clouds.
Eagles, whether I'm shouting at clouds or not. I think this Eagles team is still. I think they're in the competitive tier in terms of the NFC overall. I think I've got kind of 3 or 4 teams at the top, and the Eagles are one of them. I think Jalen Hurts obviously continues to be decent. You've got a good.
That was unenthusiastic. Jalen Hurts continues to be decent.
Okay, let me phrase it differently.
Plant a flag, Ketts.
He's one of the NFC's better quarterbacks. I think Sirianni, the way he kind of coaches the team, he keeps Philadelphia consistently up there. I think Howie Roseman is the GM we all dream of. The drafting, especially in the trenches, is just absolutely elite. I think the Eagles' kind of star quality across the team, Quinion Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Jordan Davis, they've got players in various different positions where you just think, move on, next question. You don't even have to think about it. Some of the additions that they've made, Jonathan Grenard, Tariq Woolen, Dontavian Wicks, they're good players in their positions, and I think they'll be able to add to the sum of the parts. I I question their slot wide receiver and their trade up in the draft, Mekhi Lemon, because he's now dead to me. But the rest of the draft, again, pretty good. Some good players in terms of Eli Stowers. I think he's going to take over from Dallas Goedert at the tight end position in the long term. Markel Bell definitely has some upside. Micah Morris. Who else did they have? Cole Wisniewski in the 7th round. I think that was a decent pickup in terms of a free safety with some upside. But yeah, I just like the overall kind of layout of the Steelers roster, the Eagles roster, I should say. The questions I have of them is the offensive line and the age of it and the consistency of it. I think that's declined from when they were clear.
Oh, still one of the best lines in football, no?
It is still one of the better lines in football, but I just question the future of it in terms of where is it going to go. They have got Willie Lumpkin and Cam Jurgens. So center-wise, they're set. But yeah, I just it's a transitioning offensive line, and I guess that's got some question marks compared to the kind of heavy heights when they were Super Bowl contenders.
I love how your window is like 3 years ahead. You're talking about because right now I'd say this is the number one line in the league with serious consistency, and I don't know who you'd put ahead of them. Mailata, Dickinson, Jurgens, Steen, Lane Johnson.
I mean, I'd take it in Pittsburgh. Don't get me wrong. I just think and this is maybe it's a concern, but equally it's the best thing that the Eagles have done for a number of years, and that's transitioning that offensive line and the defensive line, replacing those elite veterans and maintaining the standard. And it's can they do that consistently forever? Which so far in the last 10 years seems to be, yeah, of course they can. Ketts, shut up. But I guess you've just got to, like Mark says previously, you've got to see it. And I think, we have seen that to a certain extent, but you always have those questions over the trenches. But I think they've drafted so well. It kind of indicates that to a certain
I'm terrified
extent.
of this team. Terrified.
Yeah, still a little bit. Yeah, I do think it's worth noting no AJ Brown is definitely going to impact them. I know he was a bit of a diva on that team, and that might help them out actually in not having that negative energy in there. But Dontavian Wicks, AJ Brown, not really, is he? So can Devontae Smith be that? Like there's question marks in that room now.
Sure, is Devontae Smith the true number one?
Exactly.
But you've got some nice pieces here. I mean, Hollywood Brown is, everyone's kind of down on him because he's, not a fantasy receiver. Still solid. Take the top off. He can do some things. Elijah Moore he was quite a solid slot receiver. He's down as it. Right receiver, but I don't know. He's got some moves. As Cooper, what's his name here? Hang on, Eric Kumama. Yeah, I was high on that guy. I think he's got a shot. Mekhi Lemon. There's an injury, isn't there? With Lemon, I think there is. I think there's an injury, but
something about that.
Yeah, he's going to be good. Yeah, red star for me. So yeah, it does feel like they've lost their real number one receiver. So you could argue they've gone backwards in that sense. But everywhere else on the field, they're either as good or better, I'd say.
I think the only questions you've got is maybe the edge rush and the linebacker depth, and just the fact that they've consistently got that good schedule because they keep winning and keep performing well, and therefore they have to play the good kind of opponents across the NFC and the AFC.
I mean, you look out for Andrew Makuba this year. Physical free safety. Reek Woolen, physical right corner. Quinion Mitchell, physical corner. Cooper DeJean, we know what he's capable of. What a secondary.
It's amazing.
Yeah, Jahad Campbell and Zach Bryant. Just what a defense. Jonathan Grenard, the addition. Nolan Smith backing him up. Jeremiah Trotter. I mean, just this defense is absolutely terrifying. And for me, if they had a better quarterback, then this would be a dynasty level team. And is it? I mean, is it potentially a dynasty level team? But you've got the Vic Fangio defense, Sean Mannion, the new offensive coordinator, first time play caller. So that's a mild concern. But we're talking a play caller from a McVay Shanahan tree. This could be a very dangerous offense with. What am I doing here? Sorry, with that level of play calling with these players. So maybe that compensates for AJ Brown. Some some interesting schemes, better schemes, not just putting it all in Barclays' breadbasket. So
where are we at with Sirianni? Because he's a bit of a loose cannon, and I don't think he's. It's a really weird one because obviously he must be a good coach. He's a Super Bowl winning head coach, but he really does rub a lot of people, including his own people, the wrong way. And Eagles fans seem to be a little, although Eagles fans are quite temperamental anyway, but they seem to be a little sick of him at times. Is he constantly on a hot seat because of how good this team is, or I find it very hard to place where Nick Sirianni is in terms of his safety in his position and how great he actually is at it.
Hard to know.
I feel like
really.
he's done well, hasn't he? I remember his first interview when he came out and he talked about smart football, and everyone sort of went, "What? That's what are you even talking about?" And then he went on
Chris
to win
Brown's
a Super Bowl,
brand.
so, yeah, it's I feel like has he possibly whelmed because he's overwhelmed, but then maybe underwhelmed. So therefore, maybe the net result is that he's whelmed. I don't know. Interesting question.
Deep thoughts from Ketts.
Sorry.
Anyway,
that's where Kapina Gashikin went as well. My
Who?
My sleeper safety.
Kapina
Kapina
Gashikin.
Anyway. This team is definitely still better than the Steelers, despite some of the holes in there.
I do like third string defensive tackle, Bernard.
So he's the guy who's never played football before as well.
Great
he's
stuff.
the Nigerian who's
that's that guy. Yeah, he doesn't even have a picture on our lads. Absolute physical freak. I mean, if you were designing an Ultimate Warrior in the lab, it's this guy, right? 6'5".
You would look at him and be like,
306. Let's take a second here to look at this guy. Hang on, I need to Google it because it is impressive.
I'm busy looking at.
You're still
Uncle
looking
Rocco.
at the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. This dude was a specimen, right? I mean, look at this dude, just like Ultimate Warrior here. Never played football. It's an interesting case. NFL draft prospect from Nigeria might be most insane athlete I've ever seen. 306-pound defensive tackle that ran a 4.66 40-yard dash.
That's terrifying.
I mean,
absolutely
he's
terrifying.
Ultimate Warrior.
That guy's lost more muscles than I've ever had.
He's got muscles in places where I don't have places. Like,
but we can all agree, right? There's no debate here. Eagles better.
No debate. Yeah.
I think
I've got them fourth, just out of clarity. I've
got them third.
Yeah.
Wow.
We switched.
We did switch the Eagles and the Bears. Yeah.
I do think there's some weird juju going on with the Eagles, and there has been for a long time, but it seems to work. They're obviously owned by the Italian mob or something. I don't know what's going on.
It's Big Dom, isn't it?
Right,
yeah,
exactly. Well, I mean, they're very clearly infiltrated by some kind of underground mobster operation, and no one wants to discuss it for their own safety. But I'm hoping they won't reach the long arms across the Atlantic to us.
Allegedly, but we respect all mobsters.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Uncle Rocco, and the long snapper, who's definitely not just someone's nephew.
Even bum
Oh my God, I forgot they drafted Cole Payton. Oof. Like that. If he can find
all right.
some,
Eagles ahead.
Eagles also ahead in parking situation here. Look at this parking lot. I love American parking lots.
Good amount of
solar power.
Yeah,
too.
we don't have these kind of things in
having been there.
My relatives, if you visit my relatives in Arizona, you park in one of these things where it's undercover. I mean, it's just so considerate. The parking spaces are big. You've got plenty of space, and I mean, that's why you have it in Arizona, because you need the shade, right? Because otherwise, literally, you get back and your seats have melted into the floor of your car. But I think maybe we're going to need some of this stuff in the UK, judging by the summers we're having. But
it's the whole setup of what they have down there in the south of Philly with all those stadiums. It's just one big massive industrial estate. Really, it feels like, just with these huge stadiums around there. But yeah, the parking is sensationally big and
industrial estate. Hang on, no. There's one team that lives on an industrial estate, And that is the Cleveland Browns. Let's just take a quick
look.
Just remember here.
Listener, by the way, Gav is currently showing the Philadelphia Stadium,
Not anymore.
which has parking lots covered in a number of solar panels.
I thought we'd made that clear.
Thus providing. Well, I'm just checking the audio listener is happy. As an ex-audio listener myself,
I think I've proven that I've made that clear.
Covered in solar panels so as to make use of
we're just returning
solar potential
to my favourite area of the Cleveland Browns Stadium, which is this area here. This just sums up a team with Deshaun Watson as quarterback. There's the stadium. Look, here's a nice little bit of scorched earth. Anyway, sorry, we digress.
This podcast has replaced Kebab Corner with whatever this is.
Whatever this is. Right, so sorry, Sai, you taking us to the nation's capital?
Oh, there's a lot of commanders in Washington, D.C.
Hashtag Red Hogs.
Yes, go Red Hogs. Okay, well...
I always preferred Red Wolves myself, but...
Red Wing.
What colour even is the fountain at this point?
What, the reflection pool?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a kind of bluey algae, isn't it?
Algae green.
Again, Commanders have solar-powered parking lot.
Is it?
Yeah,
they do.
It's another vast one as well. Yeah. Anyway. Another team I've been to.
Is the roster appealing, though, Si, similar to the reflecting pool? That's the question.
What a segue.
Well, much like the reflecting pool, it looked grand and beautiful, and for a low price, for a while, it seemed everything was going to be all suns and smiles in the nation's capital. But as you say, Ketts, it seems that those early returns were but fool's gold for what was, in fact, a quarterback who's going to be the next RG3. God bless. Jane Daniels.
It's a bit flaky.
No, I can't accept it yet.
Has it happened again? Not again? Like that woman who's called after they called the election again?
Not another
one.
Another one.
Look, maybe it's just what you were just helmet scouting. I don't know, but doesn't it all just stink? It just all smells. In fact, I watched what's the name of the channel? That's Good Sports, the Denver guy. You know, if anyone's watched him. He did a video on like RG3 lately, and it's worth a watch for people that weren't around when RG3 was drafted. It was in fact he was drafted like probably just before I was watching, so I was like aware of what was going on, but it was all new to me. But if you're a newer fan or whatever, you don't remember the RG3 situation, go back and watch that, because man, does that situation smell very similar to what's happened here.
Well, it broke my dad's heart, the RG3 stuff, and he's all in on Jaden Daniels now. I don't think he can go through that again. Like,
but you know, again with the putting him out there in certain situations last season and just losing that year of development and that year of optimism and all that momentum that you had behind the roster and a new coach and kind of what, you know, I just don't know what we're doing. Obviously, the optimistic side is that we've got a new young head coach in David Blau. The Blauhards are on top of this. Terry McLaurin is a great receiver that we haven't seen the best of in a couple of years now because the quarterback situation has since Jaden Daniels' first year, we haven't been able to see the best out of him. There's everything here to go back to the season that we had when this team was in the NFC divisional game, right?
Yeah,
was that where they got to, right?
NFC Championship, yeah.
Was it the NFC Championship game they made it to?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
they got
right.
absolutely smashed by the Eagles.
Oh my Lord.
There's such a variance in this team. They went from 12-5 to 5-12.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
And again, it's just because there was so much going on last year beyond just the Jaden Daniels injury. It all fell apart very quickly. You could see that it was an uncompetitive team by, halfway into the season. It was one of the first teams really that fell apart. What was your view of it, Mike? You must have a kind of a close view with your dad being a fan. When did they buy out last season?
Quite early on, and I think Daniels consistently not. I mean, he didn't play well before the injury. Let's face it, he had a rough.
He wasn't
start.
healthy, right? As well.
Well, he wasn't healthy, but even so, like it just was not what we had said. And such high expectations after a Rookie of the Year. He was fabulous in that rookie season, and there was just such a high expectation for him to carry that on, but that didn't really come off. The run game didn't really get going as much as we like Bill, Ja'Cory Koski-Merritt. Terry was not really getting anything going.
He felt like another victim to me. There's been a lot of receivers like this in recent years that are just like victims. Like they're just being held captive.
He's certainly a great
bit like
player,
Terry and Arnold's friends.
Yeah. But yeah, no,
Allegedly.
And it was the defense, wasn't it? I mean, you look how different the defense already looks in 2026. It was a turgid defense in 25.
Just before we go on to defense, I've got a kind of a thought on the offense. So in 2024, they ran a lot of no huddle. So there was a lot of hurry up, kind of get the ball out, rely on Jaden Daniels' kind of trickery and ability to create a play out of nothing. Was it a case that in 2025, kind of defensive coordinators around the league just adjusted to that, and that's what caused them to have a very stagnant offense in 2025?
I don't think Dan Quinn had much of a plan B, really, and you saw that. Yeah, when it just started not coming off, there was really no backup.
Because I know obviously the defense was an issue, but I just think from offense, they showed the cards. Everybody knew what the cards were, knew how to kind of adjust to them, and therefore that's why 2025 fell off a cliff to a certain extent.
Yeah, they have not gone. They really don't have a grand.
Yeah. Man doesn't give it you.
Dear.
What do we think about the receiver situation? Treylon Burks was one of my favourite guys that should be brought in as a wide receiver 5. Turns out he's wide receiver 2 at the minute. I mean, what the hell's going on there?
Hang on a minute. What is one of your favourite guys that should be brought in?
No, it's a bit because I was, for about 2 years, I was saying Treylon, under Arthur Smith, not now, under Arthur Smith, I was saying Treylon Burks was,
bring him in.
The ultimate free agent, let's give him a shot, you know. But here he is, damn well starting for this team. Then you've got Antonio Williams in the slot now. I think quite a few fantasy heads are thinking he's going to be a guy, but a rookie starting. Diami Brown has been a decent deep threat. Luke McCaffrey, Jalen Lane done nothing. Van Jefferson, he was junk. Jacoby Jones is dead. Why is he on the roster?
It's a different guy. I thought that too.
I know.
We killed a lot of people in this episode.
One of the worst wide receiver cores in the NFL, I'd say. And that's with Terry McLaurin, who I really like.
Yeah, I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Diami Brown and Luke McCaffrey and just those two. Interesting threes, but yeah,
terrible. It's junk. The line's bad.
Antonio Williams has got a big chance.
He's got a chance. Okay. Yeah, okay, fine, but he's just starting slot receiver. I mean, he should be in the third string. The line's poor. Tunsil's all right. Tunsil's good. I'll give you that. Sam Cosme, not a bad guard. But outside of that,
am I right in saying Tunsil wasn't great last year as well?
Yeah. Now they've got a new DC. We're talking about the defense. They brought a lot in. Daronte Jones is from the Flores tree, so you've got to give him a chance. But this is a team that had the lowest amount of QBs hurries last year, 33 carries. So they need a big improvement. Have they done enough? So what have they done here? So returning players, they've got defensive end Javon Kinlaw. He's been a disappointment. Defensive tackle Daron Payne, been a disappointment. Left cornerback Trey Amos, been a disappointment. Free safety Will Harris and the cornerback Mike Sandra still. He had his moments. Everyone else on this defense is new. And Caleb Von Chason. Now we like Leo Chanel, but we'll see about that. Tim Settle, solid. He's been a solid line player. Adafe Owe, we'll see. And then Sonny Styles. I mean, Sonny Styles could be the best player on this defense in a couple of years. Nick Cross I like as a safety, but this to me, they've not done enough. This isn't a better defense. Killer Witherspoon's come in from the Rams. I think this is almost sideways in terms of defense. What do you think, Mark? Do you disagree?
I don't necessarily disagree. I do like Leo Chanel. I do like Mike Sanders still as a keeper as well. I think Sonny Styles might struggle. My biggest worry for Sonny Styles was to be on a team where he has to be the star.
It's not yet. It's going to take a while.
It is, but yeah, I still worry about that anyway. Like, he really was surrounded by a great cast at Ohio State. He's definitely not now. But yeah, I mean, Johnny Newton just didn't really come on, and that's why he's a second stringer.
He's been injured as well, hasn't he?
Been injured, yeah, and it's a bit grim viewing, and it's crazy that how much this team has dropped off in literally just in one season. I don't know what it was in 2024 that was just the magic ingredient. I think a lot of it was Jaden, but they just really gelled so well, and now it's almost like you're thinking the Commanders might be they're in the bottom tier for me of NFC teams, and it was really hard to put them there. But ultimately, it was just like this roster just isn't good enough. It really, really isn't, and I think they could easily be the worst team in this division. Come the end of 2026, they could be having another high draft pick to be spending. It's a massive shame, and the one plus point for them is if Jaden Daniels can come back and be rookie season Jaden Daniels, we know he's got it in the tank. Then that could, if him and McLaurin can combine the way we know they can, then that's massive for them, and they could end up being an 8, 9, maybe even 10 winning team. But that's a lot to count on, and I just worry that that's not going to happen, and it's just going to be too much of an ask for a team that is otherwise lacking in a lot of places.
Let me put it this way: compare Jaden Daniels' experiences to a guy he was, I believe, drafted with, right? And Caleb Williams.
Yes. Yep.
Who now has Ben Johnson around him, and he's developing all those talents. And meanwhile, Jaden Daniels, who came out onto the scene screeching with all this, inbuilt talent. Not that Caleb doesn't have, obviously, plenty of talent, but just that Jaden Daniels came onto the scene alone just with a ton of flash and exuberant energy, and it was all the NFL wanted to talk about. But he's got, Dan Quinn and this roster. The Commanders are expecting Jaden Daniels to levitate this team, to really elevate it above where it can be with the roster, whereas the Bears have built a roster to elevate Caleb Williams into his best self. And it's just a shame we're not, I don't think, ever going to see
that's a great
Jaden Daniels elevated like that.
Yeah, they're like two different ships passing in the night going in different directions. It's like they're like two companies that floated on IPO. Caleb Williams immediately crashed, but has ever since been slowly building. Whereas Jaden Daniels spiked massively, and everyone was, drinking champagne and doing Charlie at the top floor of their high rise. And now it's just been a one-way ticket all the way down to the basement. Can he bring it back? Do we believe Jaden Daniels can bring it back from him?
I still do, but obviously I loved him. I'm sure Ketts is probably in the same boat. Watch him now, absolutely slate Daniels. I don't know, but
no. I'm in the same boat. Just does he need to go to a different team to be successful?
The thing is that I'll say, and maybe Matt, you can speak on this, but the ownership is different, right? That's the big difference between RG3 and now. So it'll be interesting to see how this is handled if this goes again. If Jaden Daniels comes out and isn't looking great for whatever reason, or maybe he's not healthy, like how is this dealt with this time around? I'd like to see that with this new ownership and just see if there's a bit more.
That is an interesting point. It's certainly a less toxic environment there, which is always a plus point.
Dan Snyder
for them, yeah. And,
where's all my bitches at?
Interesting to see how Adam.
It's a great song. Put that up.
How Adam Peters kind of approaches that if that does happen. But yeah, I don't know. I think I honestly think Dan Quinn could be done if it's a bad year. I know it's a culture change, but there are still teams that would probably, after two bad seasons, good teams that would still off their coach if that's the case. So yeah, I worry about Dan Quinn. I think he's on a hot seat.
What about David Blau? Do we believe in the Blau train?
That's a tough one because he was involved with the team last year, wasn't he? Was he quarterback coach last year?
Yeah, I know he's getting a lot of buzz when he was hired.
Yeah, I think they like him in the building. So
I'm getting so old that I remember all these OCs as failed quarterbacks. It's getting, oh my God, I can't stand it.
That's what happens.
Yes, it's so old, Si. Yeah.
I quite like the running back room. I'm not going to lie. I like Krosky Merritt, Bob. I think he's got potential. Rashad White.
He's there with Rashad White.
Yeah, Rashad White. I like him.
The one now.
The league's most upright runner. But I like him in the past. Katron Allen was an interesting guy out of Penn State. Yeah, I think he could maybe do some things. And then Jerry McNichols has been all right. And then,
Jerome Ford isn't horrible.
Yeah, exactly.
And they've got Robert Henry Jr., who I really like. Robert Henry Jr. I know he's a UDFA. He's a really undersized running back, but he is rapid. If he can find some time, find some snaps somehow in this way, it's a difficult one to jump into, but I really like him as well. It's actually, I was thinking about the running back group and thinking, is it that great? But
it's kind of no name, like there's no like star power.
I like
but
Krosky Merritt,
it's solid.
When he's on it, he's really good. But Yeah, very interesting group. I think I was just so built up on thinking that they were going to take Jeremiah Love that when they didn't, it was like,
Right.
oh, well, this is the room.
How would you have felt about this team if they had?
Jesus, yeah. I mean, Daniels with Jeremiah Love. That's a tantalising prospect. Still not better than Steelers, but better than where I am with them right now.
I'm sorry to burst bubbles, gents, but they're going to cut 4 of these dudes come 53 cut down day.
Yeah, exactly. Well, 3 of them maybe. But
Yeah, but that means that they've got the best 3. So I'm
we
not
could
against
take
it.
Robert Henry if he
Again,
does,
it's very similar actually to the tight end room. Chiga Kwonkwo, John Bates, Ben Sinnott. It's Anthony
Colson Yankoff.
Okay.
Now, there is a name.
Anthony Ferkser. Again,
Carlin Viggers.
no name tight end, but all of those tight ends I quite like. I like, Okonkwo's kind of league average starting tight end, but John Bates is a solid blocker, and Ben Sinnott, I think, we had high hopes about him in the draft. It's just not worked out. He's got a chance. He's got a chance. Yeah, so it could come good. It's just there's no names. But I think we all agree though the Washington football team is an easy win for the Steelers.
Yes, I think we can agree to that. Despite the quarterback situation being so exciting, you'd think goes to show it's not just all about the quarterback.
They still have the most handsome man in the league,
Sam Hartman. Wait, is that who you're talking about?
Yeah.
Do you know why? Said that without a breath.
Well, no. Do you know why that's so bizarre that you said that? Is that a bit that we already did? Did we already do that bit and I've forgotten?
I potentially, yeah, because I know
Okay.
Ketts was.
Because what was random about that was that I'd clicked on his name just because I was thinking to myself, oh, I know that name. Where did he get drafted from? So I clicked his little thing and I saw his face and I was literally about to say, look at Sam Hartman's profile and how handsome he is. And then you just said
Very
it.
handsome man. Very handsome man. Is he
So
your sleeper, Ketts?
I think he might be.
he's so handsome that me and Mark individually were both going to bring that up. That's insane.
How are we feeling about Sam Hartman versus Ulysses 41? No, I don't know if you can see that on the
Where's
screen.
that?
Sounds like some kind of droid.
I'm aging myself, perhaps.
American football or Star Wars?
No, this is a French/Japanese cartoon from the 1980s.
Oh, wow.
But
I like it. Yeah, no, I like that. Is his vibe. Yeah,
definitely his vibe. Great cartoon. A fantastic. In fact, we've got the end of the show. Oh no, we might get copyright strike.
Yeah, we'll get copyright.
Probably
We'll get copyright strike. But let's do it because we've reached the point. Let's do it. Okay, I'm going to play you the Ulysses.
Gav starts playing by his own rules.
41 theme. Hang on.
You'll complain if you do something. Like if we wanted to do this
No,
would not
it's
happen.
at the end. I keep saying to you. Right, here you go. Extended title sequence. Check this out. Hang on. Here we go.
Nice.
But Commander's not going anywhere in the NFCs.
Right.
Ulysses, Jane Daniels has no knees.
We could put that for the podcast. KSP.
Oh, that's a great show. Right, Mark, you're the musician. We need to re-record this. Let's get the music track
I'll
going.
get Jamie on the phone.
You get the what do you need? The stanzas. The what are the notes called? The little thing with the little ball on the end.
Quavers.
Get them all.
Semi-quavers.
Semi-quavers.
I need the score. Give me the
Cheese
score.
quavers.
All right.
Right.
Cool. I'm glad we broke this down into 2 because I felt like we were going to rush through the second half. So
exactly.
We'll be back next week with the second half. But where we were was the Steelers are better than one team in the NFC North. Not quite sure which one.
I'm not sure I even voted on any of the previous 2, but it felt like Gav had maybe just taken executive decisions.
Well, we can think about this next week and come back. Maybe the listeners can get involved, tell us how stupid we are.
Because we didn't even come back to the Packers, right? So I think we need to sit on a couple of these as well. So we'll finalise the list next week.
Yeah, and then the Steelers are second best team in the NFC East, behind only the Eagles, which I find kind of wild, but maybe that's true. I don't know. Okay, so we'll see. We'll come
Cowboys, back. Let's just check that. Cowboys, I'm okay with us being better than. Giants, I'm okay with us being better than.
And Commanders definitely better
Commanders definitely better than.
It's the Cowboys that's the question mark for me. But me and Mark agreed to cross the line on that one.
I think the Cowboys is clear.
So, Ketts, send us the rest of your thing, and we'll still include you next week.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, you're not here? Oh, yeah, you're going to be in the Dominican Republic. No. Well, have a good time.
Yep.
I tell you what,
send us in your operations.
Send us in your final voting, and we'll include it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right.
Very good. Well, follow the show at UK Steelers Pod. Thank you all for sticking around on the live stream. Anyone who was here for the full time. I see there's a few of you. Follow the show at UK Steelers Pod. Follow me at I Wrote This. Follow Gav at GM Boom Up. Follow Ketts at Ketts UK. Are you going to be updating people on all your Dominican Republic adventures online, Ketts? Will we see any more monkeys? That's the real question.
If there's any monkeys, you will hear about it. If there is not any local wildlife, then you will.
I better not just hear about it. And it better be pulling a damn funny face.
And running.
I will give you wildlife updates when I get there.
And follow Mark at Mesh NFL on Twitter. All right, we'll see you all next week to finish up this fun exercise.
All right, see you later, guys.
See ya.